Oh, yes, my little kitties. Oh, yes, my little kitties. This is where you get truth, justice, and the Big Sales way. But as always, the signature start of the program, Big Sales. By the way, let me hook you guys up with something here. But hey, I want to start. By the way, I know you guys have other options. I thank you guys so much for coming here each and every single day, Monday through Friday, 2 to 6 Eastern time. You guys are legendary. You're building the show like no one else. I mean, of all the other shows that you can hear in Philly and around the country, this is where you really get, in my opinion, interaction between people who are not just going to put yes men on the show. And you guys disagree with me, agree with me. We go back and forth, but you know what we do have? We have a forum here, all of us. You know, I mean, the only thing that separates me from you guys is that I host the show. Okay? Is that we host the show and you guys basically are my co-host here. That defense sucks, dude. Let me get to my takeaways here first. Okay? I'll get to those. And I'll tell you the way it was last night. Okay? I will. Guys, I appreciate it. Again, I just want to make sure we get that out. By the way, how many people believe, before we get even started here, how many people believe that Tanner McKee should be the number 2 quarterback in Philly? And I'm going to tell you guys how insane that is. On August 16th, how many people believe that he should be the backup quarterback? Okay, Jameson says me. Who else? McKee. Me. Okay. Absolutely. At least get some second team reps. Okay. 90% of the fans think that. Said, here, let's put this up. I'm going to show you what 98% of the fans don't put into the conversation. Look at all you guys. Here. Let's see what Bob Brown says. Seals Pickett is the right number 2 for the game. McKee is a long-term solution. Pickett can't throw over 5 yards. I'm assuming that's what LT's saying. Troy says, I say no. You guys are missing the biggest point of why Kenny Pickett is number 2. Trade value. If you take that quarterback and drop him in the 3 hole, Howie's ability to move him to, say, Minnesota or anyone else come the trade deadline, you diminish a trade of potentially a higher pick. You fuck him over by doing that. You're trying to evaluate that guy to elevate his trade value. That's why Nick won't commit to McKee being 2. McKee's outplayed him. McKee outplayed Mariota last year. Did it matter? No. What Bob Brown said is exactly right. He's a long-term thing. Think football, folks. Not just on the field. Think football. Think business. Think money. Think draft picks. Think Howie Roseman. Dude, you guys are missing the entire boat. This is not college football. If you demote Kenny Pickett, you get nothing in return for him. You're trying to lie. You're trying to put really great-looking tires and a good paint job on a wreck and sell it for more than it's worth. Have you ever sold a house or an apartment or your car or anything? You don't tell people, well, it sucks. Here, what do you want? Give me most what you can for it. What do you want to do, a yard sale with Kenny Pickett? Try to think business-wise. This is why you're missing it. You're not wrong. Pickett's not playing better than Tanner. You're not wrong, but you're missing the NFL angle. And you're taking Howie Roseman out of the equation when it comes to the depth chart. You guys got to think, man. Again, those other shows aren't going to drop knowledge on you here. Okay? They're not going to drop knowledge like that on here. We're going to tell you the business angle because look, that's why. Hey, he's a really good guy. Fuck that. Who cares if don't ruin his value. Twiz, lipstick on a pig. Correct. Minnesota's probably already called him. Do you realize that some of those checkdowns were probably to inflate his numbers in that game last night so that it'll look good on a stat sheet, so that he'll be viable for someone to call and make a deal for? Okay? I mean, dude, that's what you're trying to do here. You're trying to elevate his value. If the Eagles themselves think he sucks, why would I give you a 4th or 5th rounder for him? I'll wait for you to cut him. Or I'll give you a 7th rounder for him, when I could potentially get one of those 5s back or 4s back of a year ago, or this past April, I should say. It's not whether or not he played well. It's about trade value. And if he kind of looks decent, sell that. Holy shit. It's just like 101 sometimes. I'm not saying all of you in here. Some of you get it. I get it. I'm not really. But when I hear people talking out there like that, it's fucking stupid. Okay? Sills, it's like a used car lot. Pick it up to the front of the lot. Polish his ass up and try to move him before someone looks under the hood. Amen. Amen, man. Amen. That's exactly right. Look what I got here, man. This kid's a former number 1 overall pick. You know, he worked with the 2s and 3s last night. You know, and by the way, I'm going to give you my takeaways and my honest takeaways from what I saw last night. Not that bullshit you hear and all these cheerleaders you have. By the way, Philly 500 will join us at 4:30. The legendary Philly Godfather will join us at 5:30. Xander will hit us up at 3:30. The co-host of Birds 365, John McMullen, and him are doing an absolutely whale of a job. Adam, listen, it's just about trade value. Tanner McKee is outplaying him. I completely agree with each and every single one of you. No doubt about it. He's outplayed. He looks good. By the way, we'll get into some of the things that he said post-game last night, too. Okay? All right. So, again, exhibition season is in full swing, obviously. Second game last night, Patriots and Eagles. You know, Sirianni reacted. And by the way, I'm going to make a comment here. I'm sorry, I completely disagree. And I'm going to show you what a liar that Nick Sirianni is as a coach. Last year, he was even confronted with it in postgame last night. Hey, Nick, you even came out publicly and said you regretted not playing the starters in the exhibition season. He was asked that question last night, and he walked it back. Well, you know, things are different and situations are different. What, the new coordinator? I completely disagree with not getting any reps with the first team. I completely do not agree with rolling them out and putting them out there September 6th and saying, let's go play a ball game. And I don't give a shit about your formaldehyde practice on Tuesday. I mean, Mahomes, Allen, all of them, Burrow, all of them get quality reps. Not a ton, but they get quality game reps to get themselves prepared for the start of the season. I completely disagree with this. He even himself said he regretted it. And now he's walking that shit back. Because you know why? The organization made that call, not him. Last night, a reporter even called him out on it. Hey, Nick, you said that you regretted not playing your starters in the preseason. Last night, he went into this, once again, diatribe in his political answer, and he said, I probably shouldn't have said that. Probably shouldn't have said that because at the time, it fit the narrative. Now it doesn't fit the narrative because the organization pulls the strings. That is right. Right here in a nutshell is exactly right. It's not Nick's decision anyway. Well, then shut your mouth. You regretted not playing him? Well, obviously you have no gravitas in the building on wanting to play the guys. You felt that they got too much work on Tuesday. The defense did too. Hey, I get the defense needs more reps. I completely disagree. I agree with Hugh Douglas and John Ritchie. They are not prepared for the upcoming start of the season with the lack of quality reps. I may be proven wrong. But by the end of last year, the fraudulent team was exposed. We'll see. I tell you what, I like what Nick's doing. Because he's playing the political angle of what he was told to do. He's being told this. But I'll tell you what I really like. Boy, I really like Vic Fangio. He's looking for ball players. It's hard for puppet coaches to win Super Bowls. I can't think of one. All right. Let's get into the takeaways. Now, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of something here for me. I don't listen to really anybody. I listen to the players and coaches after games. I don't listen to analysts. I don't listen to people who think they know because they've been around a team for a billion years. I watched the game, and then I watched the game again this morning. I went back and watched it again. Okay? Sills, it's too hard to listen to cheerleaders BS. By the way, let me start it off. It was a shitty game. It's 2 in a row, sloppy, but it's a lot of 2s and 3s. It's not an indictment. It's just that's what you get when you get a lot of 2s and 3s. Okay? Hey, guys, almost like save your takes here, and I promise you, the NFL channel commentary was awful. Okay? The game stuff was, I think it was the Patriots. That was their TV crew that was calling that game last night. Guys, please hit the like button. All right. Here's Big Sil's takeaways from last night's game. It's like, here's the orange crop estimate. If you guys know the movie, it's a Philly movie. You can reference it. Here's the orange crop estimates. All right. I'm not sure the Patriots can beat Boston College. That is an absolutely awful roster. I mean, there's some quality guys on that team. I think their quality side is really on the defensive side of the ball. Thank you, Josh. Appreciate it. But the offensive side of the football, there's very limited talent on that side. Boy, they got a long way to go. I didn't think Drake May looked that bad. Tyler Steen hurt again. Dude, this guy is like paper mache. Sorry, kid, you lost your job. Back to the end of the bus. I have no time for that. No time for that. Back to the back of the line. I thought the Patriots did a pretty decent job on defense against the Eagle 2s. Had 5 sacks in the ball game. I believe maybe they could have had one more, but they pressured them. And I thought now look, they played a lot of their frontline guys and you played your 2s. So it was a really good look for you to get a look at the Eagle twos, because I think the Patriots played a lot of their ones over on defense, as did the Eagles on defense. Okay? Kellen Moore's offense put up 14 points against a pretty good defense and using twos. That's not awful. That's a good, they were 8th in defense last year. They were 8th. Okay? Man, we got a lot to hit on here. Lot to hit on right now. I said it a couple minutes ago. Very sloppy football game. Please hit the like button, guys. I thought Zach Bond had a really good ball game last night. He's not used to playing inside. When you watch the game and you watch what they're asking him to do, I thought he played really well last night. He was very active. He ran to the ball. He had good, proper fits. I thought he played really well last night. I thought Bond played well. Avonte Maddox with a play. Kudos. Back of the end zone, stopping a scoring drive. That was good to see. That's encouraging to see. He took it out, too, from the back of the end zone, put up and gave him good field position. I thought he really showed you and gave you something there that's encouraging. Again, no one's ever really questioned whether or not Avonte Maddox can play. It's whether or not he can play in consistency. I thought Tanner McKee, like I said, I thought he really did a nice job. The go-ahead drive, drove like 75 yards or 70 yards to get the go-ahead drive. I thought he played. I thought he really played well. Nakobe Dean, probably the best game he's played as an Eagle. He made some plays. He did a nice job. That was pretty much their starting offense, too. Not that the Patriots have anything, but still, it's reps. And he played a lot of football last night. And all the experts were saying he wasn't going to play a lot. He played like 3 quarters last night. And he was around the ball. Okay? That was probably his best game since he's been in an Eagle uniform. I mean, ran, did some good things. He played well last night. Okay? He did. Am I sold on him? Absolutely not. You know what pyrite is? That's fool's gold. Consistency is the only thing that sells big sills. Not an exhibition game, even though it matters. That mattered last night more to me than that bullshit thing on Tuesday. That mattered more to me. Okay? So, he played well last night. It's the best I've seen him look as a football player last night. Devin White is garbage. I mean, you got to play him. You've got to play him. What are you thinking about? That guy needs reps too. Okay? He needs reps too. I mean, get him reps. So what you're saying is there's a chance Trotter and Dean. No, I'm not saying anything like that. Got to clean up them penalties. You got to clean up. I mean, 2 games in a row. I think you're at 14 now. Let's go. But then again, it's 2s. Seals, I totally agree. Our players need to play to get ready for the season, especially on defense. If no balls, no glory, there's where I stand. Howie and Lori are writing a big check, hoping the offense cashes. That's absolutely true. I totally disagree with this philosophy, and I always will. I do not believe that offense sitting in a formaldehyde jar on Tuesday is ready for the Packers. And you got a ton of talent over there. You're relying, like you said, Ace, on the talent to carry you. And Green Bay's playing ball games. And they're playing love. And they're playing their starters. Not significantly, but they're looking at game tempo. And Nick Sirianni and the organization believes that a practice is going to have them ready for Brazil. So be it. Let's see who's right. Let's see who's right September 6th. Absolutely. Thank you very much. Yeah, very good. You guys picked up the movie reference. Nice. Nolan Smith. I'm not going to kill Nolan Smith on the late hit on Drake May. It's an effort play. I'm actually seeing it looks to me that he's trying to find his way. Okay? He's nowhere near ready yet. He's still a halfway green apple. Look, the hit on Drake May, I'm not going to kill a player in an exhibition game. I'm just going to make him cognizant. Can't have that. Extends drives, and you put us in a bad position. But he was active last night. I saw him. See, my eyeball test will always be the number one test. Okay? But he's average right now. If I were to give you an estimate on him, he's average. He's an average ball player. Jacoby Dean is an inconsistent ball player. So it's still work in progress there. You still got some weeks. It's not anything to get your panties in a bye. But it's still Nolan Smith is not a first-round draft choice in my eyes right now. I don't see it. I don't see that guy being a first-round pick. I don't see anywhere where that was in the evaluation where that guy's the 30th best player in a draft. I don't. Like I said, I'm down on Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis is a first-round pick. Okay, he's a first-round pick. That guy's not. Third, fourth. Something like that. Plus, he can get bull rushed off the line by an offensive lineman. Here's my assessment on Bryce Huff last night. I saw the stupid-ass article by the Inquirer. Here's my takeaway, watching the game twice. I don't think he knows the defense that well yet. I saw him numerous times last night taking himself out of plays. He gets off the ball decent, very decent, as a matter of fact, above average. But I don't think he knows what he's doing out there. There were so many times, poor angles, wrong pursuit angles. I mean, he looks like a non-drafted player at times. I mean, he runs around out there like it just seems confusing to him. I see a guy still learning how to play every down now. I mean, when I look at his snaps that he played, it just looks like he doesn't know what he's doing. I mean, I just don't see it. Not yet. Okay, I mean, I don't know. You got to look at all the plays and how he pursues to the ball, and it just looks to me like he doesn't know what he's doing. The offensive line is an issue. Your backups, you have no depth. It just doesn't look like you have any depth now. Because I thought the Patriots, they kicked the shit out of that second group of the Eagles. They kicked the shit out of them. 5 sacks, stopped numerous drives, held them to 14 points. I mean, now they were going against the ones. You're not supposed to dominate twos. But did a pretty decent job against the Ravens. Ravens played some of their ones on defense last Thursday. But the depth level of your football team on offensive line could be a concern here, especially if some of these guys go down because Steen can't handle it. Nolan Smith cannot get off blocks. He looks average. He sure does, man. He just looks average. Okay? He just looks average. And once again with Huff, he just poor pursuit angles. He looks like he doesn't know what he's doing out there. I mean, I think he's still like, I can't wait to hear Vic say it. And it just, I mean, there's signs of encouraging things in the pass rush, but the rest of it, it's totally still a work in progress. I mean, gotta say, man, I hate to do this, but Kenny Gainwell, every single time he steps on a football field, he's getting better and better. He's going to play. Kenny Gainwell has been a star in camp. He's been a star in camp. He's played well. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of the guy, but every single time, and sometimes an offense can change a guy's direction and projection, because him and that Kellen Moore offense, he looks really good, man. He does. I mean, listen, I know a lot of people don't like him, but I think him and Barkley are going to be really good this year. As I said, I thought Drake May did a really nice job. I thought he did a really nice job. And again, against the Eagle ones, there was a lot of ones still out there. May did a nice job, moved the team. I thought that's the best he's looked as a quarterback. I got to say this to you, man. Listen to this. 6'8", 365, 6'6", 332, 6'3", 303, 6'7", 363, 6'6", 325. Mulata, Dickerson, Juergens, Becton, and Lane. That's the fucking biggest offensive line I've ever seen in my life. Holy shit, is that enormous. I mean, I don't know how tall Jalen Hurts is, but I don't know, man. I mean, that guy needs a Tokyo phone book to look over that old line, because that is one of the biggest offensive lines I have ever seen. I mean, holy cow. Someone just said, is Juergens undersized? No, that's about right. 6'3". I mean, Kelsey wasn't anything more than that. Guys, please hit the like button. I mean, wow. Absolutely one of the biggest offensive lines. It's over. Mekhi Becton has won that right guard spot. Tyler Steen, sorry, dude. You're in the tub and you don't perform. What else can I say? You know, this isn't like handing out library cards. You got to earn that spot over there. He had everything in front of him to earn that spot. Injuries, what have you, lack of production. I've never seen him play well. Okay? And I don't even know if Mekhi Becton is really good over there. I mean, he basically won that job by default. Steen didn't show up. Mulata says he likes the new playbook. He says it frees the offensive line on pre-snap calls and allows Hurts to take control. I think that's been one of the things that we've seen that has been that has been a factor here. Let's see, what'd you say here? I don't get it. Why he's still on the roster. I don't want James Bradbury getting any snaps. I don't get it. You're not getting anything for him. Cut him. It only cost you $4 million. Cut him. What the fuck are you going to do paying a guy $12 million? Give me the roster spot for someone else to go out and sign a guy. I don't care who you sign. Sign Mills. Get someone more competent that knows how to play the safety position. Get fucking rid of him. He's a liability on the roster. And you're like, he's not even going to play corner. I mean, Are you really that unsure of your corners that you keep an $11 million guy on your football team? I'd rather, like Xander says, I'd rather give up touchdowns early in the year and lose ball games than to have James Bradbury still on my team helping me lose games. I'd rather have Eli Ricks or Keely Ringo or any of these other guys blow a coverage other than him. His money makes me nuts. I don't want to pay him for that effort. No disrespect, son. You were a Pro Bowler 2 years ago. Old news. It's time to fucking get rid of him. Play some of the... Dude, James Bradbury versus a fifth rounder I would play. I'd play the fifth round safety. I mean, Howie's magic. Where in the world has that guy put up tape in the last year in a camp where a team would trade for him a fourth or fifth rounder and pick up $12 million after that shit and getting turned around last night on tape? Where in the world would you think that? Use some freaking common sense. This is a bad roster spot. You can't keep guys on your team like that. I think he's out the first cut. He's out the first cut. Guys, please hit the like button. Will Shipley's going to get some playing time. Okay? He's going to get some playing time. He's shown me that he can block and pass protection. First and foremost, get this. The number one thing I wanted to see last night out of Shipley is pass probe. He can do it. He runs in between the tackles. He catches the football. Got to tell you, man, he catches it out in space. Nice little screen that he caught last night. I want you to listen to me when I say this. He's got the same fundamental skill set that you see in guys like Kamara and with McCaffrey. Are they those? Is he those players? No. Nobody's suggesting that. Skill set is different than talent set. Does he have the talent of McCaffrey? Absolutely not. Does he have the talent of Kamara? Absolutely not. Does he have the same skill set as those players? Absolutely. There's a difference. Okay? Right, Chip. It's his own version. He's got the technical fundamentals that McCaffrey has. He reminded me of McCaffrey last night, running in between the tackles, running inside, catching the ball out and out, blocking and pass probe. McCaffrey is a really good pass protector. Okay? He's a really good pass protector. I got ahead of myself here. This Bradbury thing, this makes no sense to me. I really just don't get it. The depth in the O-line. Holy cow. I mean, the depth in the O-line, I just, I don't get it, man. I mean, I don't see it. I think you got some problems there. If you get a couple guys, it's funny, man. What was that guy's name? Jack Driscoll? Remember all you guys used to hate him? Man, I wish I had him back. That Stoll guy? Man, I wish I had that guy back. I wish I had dudes like that. I think Trevor Keegan continues to improve. He does. He's going to get some reps this year. I don't know, God forbid, if anybody goes down, he's going to get some reps. He's had a good camp, and he's had a good 2 exhibition games. I told you this on draft day. I know Xander did too. This is one of my favorite picks of that draft. 34 starts at Michigan, team captain, national title. If he's in any other year in the draft, he's a 3rd round pick. But because it was so deep, he went in the 5th. He's a 3rd round talent. Okay, he's a 3rd round talent. Mid 3rd round too. He's going to play. He's probably going to be your heir apparent at right guard next year. Okay? I mean, I like what he's done. Actually, him and Trotter have been the most impressive rookies so far. Sills, I don't disagree about the ones reps, but depth makes a deep run possible. The offense should knock the rust off quickly in the season. We need to know who the next man up are. I don't subscribe to putting out starters. Yeah, I like that, Kyle. I like that. I would say this to you. I don't subscribe to that. Lining him up September 6th with a new coordinator, not having seen anything, and you're taking everything out of that practice against the Patriots. Well, the Patriots played a ton better last night. They worked over that offensive line. Again, not the starters, but I thought the Eagle defense was okay against a very inferior Patriot offense. I mean, it was ones versus ones last night. So I mean, hey guys, look at what this dickhead said here. Have I been trashing anybody? Or just telling the truth? Here's another fuckhead that doesn't like the truth. Bro, you don't like it? Fuck you, man. Go watch another show. Honest to God. Dude, you're not a representative of the people that have built this show. You're talking to yourself. Okay? Why do they? Because it's the only place that they can get the truth. And can actually argue with us. So, bro, you don't like it? Get the fuck out of here. Or become part of the group. It's up to you. Dumb fuck? Okay, guy. Sure. Go suck someone off, man. That don't happen here. Okay? Shipley fumbled more than any running back on the roster right now while at Clemson. Hey, JM, I thought that offensive line at Clemson wasn't very good last year. Okay? Hey, Chaos, you know why he's watching? He's part of the media people that do that. That's why. Hey, Sills, we're doing great pissing off the chat. I'm just telling you what I saw last night. That's what I saw last night. Talk a little bit about the two quarterbacks that played. They had a press conference last night. Christian McCaffrey was fumbling all in the Super Bowl. If you watch Sills, is right more often. Thank you. Shipley definitely works on bettering himself. I like the kid a lot. I really do. Sills, it was ones versus R2s. You had your one defense out there, dude. Prince, are you trying to tell me you didn't have your one defense out there outside of your tackles and Sweat? Are you really trying to tell me you didn't have your your defense out there? I saw your ones out there all day. I saw N'Kobe out there for 3.5 quarters. Are you trying to say that? I mean, that's not what I saw. And I watched the damn game twice. Oh, okay. I know Carter and Davis didn't play. The rest of them did, except for Sweat. Huff played. Nolan played. Linebackers played. The entire secondary played outside of Gardner Johnson and the hurt kid. No Slay. Not going to put Slay out there. Yeah. The majority of your defense was out there on the field. What, Nolan Smith didn't play and Huff didn't play? Hey, look, I'm not debating this. Kenny Pickett, this is what he said last night. Hey, by the way, one more time. Kenny Pickett is not outplaying Tanner McKee. Okay? He didn't. I thought the Patriots, this is what he said. The reason that some of the drives were stalled because the Patriots were throwing blitzes, and they were bringing pressure on some of the and some of the pressure stopped it. The dudes really look bad with Reddick and Huff switch. Dukes really look bad with the Reddick and Huff switch. Sean, what are you trying to say, brother? I can tell in Kenny Pickett's voice, he knows that he's not playing better than Tanner McKee. Okay? Here's McKee. Boy, I'll tell you something, man. I really like Tanner McKee at the microphone. He tells you a lot of what's going on. And how the offense is working. Okay? He was like this. He goes, they asked him how come he wasn't throwing deep. I appreciate it, Jeremiah. Thank you. It's going to be rough on defense to start the season unless young guys show up and the linebackers can overperform. That defense is not very good. It is not very good. And will it be ready by Green Bay? No. It won't be ready for another 2 months, 3 months at best. Okay? At best. It won't be better. The offense is going to clearly have to handle the clock and time of possession. And your special teams are going to have to be a factor early in the year. I agree with Xander. Start of that season, you're going to have a newly improved Atlanta team. I don't know what that means. Do you beat them? Probably. But they're going to be a newly improved Atlanta team. They got a new juice down there with Raheem. I posted a great picture of me and Raheem. I talked to Raheem Morris last night. And I posted a picture of Raheem over at Dan Sileo show on my Twitter page. I had a great conversation with Raheem Morris. We've known each other for 20 years plus. I said, congratulations, man. He goes, how about Bates and Justin Simmons in my secondary? I'm like, that's a fantastic, fantastic duo. He goes, yeah, and plus we ended up getting, obviously, the kid, Matthew Judon. He goes, what do you make of Judon? I said, probably give you about 9 sacks, but he's going to cover. He's going to stop the run, and he's going to set the edge. And remember something, too. He didn't play a ton of ball last year. His years were 2 years ago and 3 years ago. So I told him, I said, the only thing I'm worried about is, okay, he might be refreshed or he could be a year older. That's the gamble you take when a guy gets hurt like he did a year ago. He only played 4 games. I think 6 games, 4 games. He's got to stay healthy. That's right, JM. For that guy to be a factor. Remember something. The New England Patriots were 8th in total defense last year, and he wasn't on the field. So, that's why they moved off him. And they went to that Keon White kid they got from Georgia Tech the year previous. Dan, do coaches design preseason games to show more individual play more than team play, or is it the same? No, they don't game plan. Yeah, get this. There's very little game planning that goes into exhibition ball games. What you're trying to do is you're trying to get an evaluation of your own current players. You won't start that Green Bay process. They've probably started some of the process now on building the game plan. But why would I show my game plan for Green Bay versus the Patriots last night? I wouldn't. I'm not going to give Matt LaFleur and the defensive coaches a head start on what I might show in the game in September. No way. Why would I? I'm trying to be as covert as I possibly can in what I'm going to throw at you out there. As a matter of fact, some of it could be misinformation plays where you're throwing plays out there that you'll never see in that ball game on September 6th. Howie and Lori remind me of the Dukes from the Trading Places, how they run this team. Pretty good. I like it, Sean. Appreciate the super chat. Thank you. How do you think Quinion looks so far? Like he fits, King. King, like he fits. Okay? Like here. Bryce Huff doesn't look like he fits. Okay? he just doesn't look like he fits. There were some promising things last night. I'm not going to dismiss him, but I still think he looks like he doesn't know what he's doing out there. Just watch the tape. Poor angles, poor pursuit angles. He's late on runs. He's not a very good run stopper. I mean, he just is not. And get this, because they suck off Howie Roseman so bad in Philly, they will do everything in their power to lie to you and tell you that Huff was great last night. He wasn't. He was decent. You can't have decent when you had Reddick. You're missing it. Decent, you can barely accept with Nolan Smith. But because Smith was the 30th pick, that's even kind of fucked up. I told you going into that game, pass rushing against quality teams are going to be a problem for them. Okay? I agree with you, man. I think the pass rush is going to be an issue. And if the pass rush becomes an issue, guys, it's like a house of cards. If you pull one card out, the back end is going to fall down on top of it. If you don't get a pass rush, your secondary suffers. And this is why you end up 31st. You've got to get pressure on the quarterback. And you've got to manufacture it some way. And it's not in a trade. Guys, Sills, how does a team evaluate talent at wide receiver and tight end when quarterback 2 sucks balls asking for a friend? Appreciate it. Thank you very much. And I appreciate the super chat. Thank you. Watch him run his route, his hands. Quarterback doesn't. Hey, get this. If a quarterback doesn't get you the ball and you run your proper route and you get off the line of scrimmage and you show separation and you show physicality and the guy's trailing you, that to me knows that you're doing your fundamental skills and you have fundamental skills at wide receiver. If the quarterback can't get you the ball, that's not a you issue. That's either an offensive line issue or a quarterback issue or both. You know, the most dependent position in the entire NFL on the offensive side of the ball is who? Wide receivers. Line's got to block. Quarterback's got to throw you the ball. That's why they're sometimes the least most important people. I think you win Super Bowls with a quality wide receiving core versus 1 or 2 great ones. Translates out that way. And the Eagles have 2 really good ones. The rest of those guys are dudes. Half those guys on that Eagle team couldn't make a team. At that wide receiver 3 position, and the rest of them guys. Dude, Johnny Wilson, Anais Smith, Paris Campbell, they're dudes. They're dudes. I mean, Jay Brown, I mean, you know, me and him don't see eye to eye. Jay Brown, tell people why tight ends win Super Bowls. Tell them why having a superstar tight end or a guy that's a really good tight end winning. Tell them why that's important. Seals, do you think the reason why the starters aren't showing out is because they want to stay healthy for the regular season? I believe that that's their mentality. Hey, Jay Brown, because there you go, Bob. Excellent, Bob. As usual. Weakest position in the National Football League is the linebacking corps in the league. There's no coincidence that Detroit Lions, the Baltimore Ravens, and the San Francisco 49ers, Buffalo Bills, they lose Milano now. That's going to hurt them. But there's no coincidence. Chiefs, all those teams that made the Final Four all have great linebacking corps. There's no coincidence. Ravens, last year, Patrick Queen, he's no longer there. He's now in Pittsburgh. Okay. Sileo, we know that guy. Sorry, I'm wrong guy here. Keep posting away. Thanks for the algorithm. Sills, Huff looks like he's trying to. That's correct. That's correct. Huff looks like he's trying to do too much rather than what he needs to do. I think he needs to slow down a little bit. Maybe Huff needs to learn how to play with his contract. I just think he needs to learn how, in my opinion, I think he needs to learn how to basically play and play run stopping. That's what I think. James says, guys, you guys are really great today. I've been saying it, average linebackers don't cut it. You need two-tier linebackers. Should have gotten Queen. That's a $17.8 million decision when you do that, my friend. It's a $17.8 million decision. Same thing. Watch this. How do you think your defense would look with all the younger players if you had spent the money of $17.8 million for Patrick Queen, or you turned around and put $17.4 on Xavier McKinney, put him at the safety position, and you put those two guys on your team? Your team would look a whole different concept defensively. It would be a completely different concept if you had that. Pickett is the best money laundering. Sills, your thoughts on the third rounder, Jalen Hunt? I'm not as down on it now. I'm not as down on it. I hated the pick. But maybe. I'm not as down on him as I was on draft day. Does that make sense? I'm nowhere near anywhere. But I'm not. How about this? I'm not really hating it anymore. Okay? Because I see him working. Okay? I mean, I'm not. How about this, guys? Am I right? Jalen Hunt, I'm not hating it. Right? I'm not hating it. I'm not hating it anymore. Let me finish on Tanner McKee here. So, Joseph says, Dean seems to be improving. Let's give a guy kudos. I thought he played well last night. Okay? And I can't stand the player. He played well. Let's see him against Minnesota. Continue to get him reps. Here's a man that has played only 218 NFL snaps. Okay? CJ goes, I'm coming around on the pick too, Sills. Yeah, I'm not hating the Jalen Hunt. I'm nowhere near hey, it's a good pick. Nowhere near that. But it doesn't look awful right now. You know? Roland says, I have questions about Nolan Smith. He's just a very average ball player. Ringo's definitely a sleeper at corner. Okay. I'm going to get to my starting lineup for August 16th as we're getting ready to go into probably some pretty intense practices that the Eagles are going to have over the next couple days. Probably this weekend. You're going to see some really intense practices because they're going to have to make some decisions here as they're getting ready to get to the first cut down. They're going to have to make some decisions here. The right guard position is completely set. He was asked the question, Tanner McKee. Last year, huge advantage sitting on the sidelines watching how Jalen Hurts ran the offense and how he handled himself. I am liking Tanner McKee. I thought he was garbage. He's how about this? If I had to make something of him, is Sam Darnold better than him? Probably. By a lot? I don't know. Give Tanner some more reps. He's a very smart kid. He sees things out there in the middle of the field exceptionally well. Okay. Okay. Tanner's better than Pickett. He's playing better than Pickett. So you gotta give Tanner's playing. He's improving. One thing I'll always do, just because I said something out of the gate on a player, if the player plays well, I'll give him his kudos. If a player sucks, I'll tell you he sucks. This is not an opinion. This is what he's doing. My opinion on Tanner McKee is what he's doing. What do you want me to say? He sucks. He's not playing well. Get this. This is a comment that he made, and I think this has a lot to do with Kellen Moore here. Listen to this. He goes, I'm getting better on post-snap assignments and movement. That's NFL quarterbacking. When you can make adjustments post-snap, remember I told you that's what Vic's trying to do to quarterbacks. Is post-snap movement. You know how many quarterbacks can't handle post-snap movement? Kenny Pickett can't handle it. You can see the reason why there's a lot of checkdowns. For the record, you know what Pickett said last night that was exceptionally smart in the postgame? One of the Philly reporters asked the question, I don't know which one. How come you didn't make? And this was John McMullen talking to Xander last week about more deep passes down the field. What did Tanner say last night after the game? You know what he said? I go with what the defense gives me to move the chains. Shit. If every quarterback had that mentality, Jalen Hurts wouldn't have had 15 picks and would have a check down game that made him a 4,500-yard passer every year. All they had to do was think that philosophy a year ago. Jalen Hurts would throw for 4,500 yards and 30 touchdowns. Hurts has never had that mentality. This guy's developed it watching, and you see him do it. And I think Hurts is going to put that element in his game this year. I mean, you threw for 3,900 yards without a check down game. Always going for those fucking stupid explosion plays don't win Super Bowls. I don't know what is important to the Eagles. Being on the highlight reel for ESPN or winning Super Bowls. Explosion plays don't win Super Bowls. Even Mahomes knows that. I mean, it's just dumb. Rely on your special teams, have a good defense, and go win some ball games. Makes no sense. He said it perfectly. Post-snap assignments and his post-snap movement, he's better at. I didn't throw deep down the field because Patriots didn't give it to me. The kid Gonzalez is a pretty good ball player. He's again. It was interesting to hear him say that Howie Roseman contacted him before they made the trade for Pickett and said, you're going to compete for the backup job. And McKee was like, okay. If you're the Eagles, you have to be pretty. I thought Will Grier didn't do that awful of a job moving the sticks. For a third-team guy with 13 people, offensive line that got handled last night, I don't think he was horrible. Would I keep him on my team? I might put him on my practice squad. I don't have a problem with him. See, again, some of you guys are late in here. The Wise Tribe, Harold. These guys don't get it. Why Kenny Pickett's number 2 and why the Eagles are making him still number 2. It's all about draft equity. You're missing it, guys. You're missing it. They're trying to get trade value for Pickett. If you devalue him by dropping him in the depth chart, you devalue every time that you put his name out there for a trade, you have just taken 2-3 rounds out of the possibility of trading for him. You guys want to demote Kenny. Get this. You guys want to demote Kenny Pickett. And every time you demote Kenny Pickett, you're going to lose 2 rounds. Every week you demote him to the third team and he's on third team, you might as well take 2 rounds away every week. Minnesota now, if you put him at third team, Minnesota wouldn't give you a 4. They'd give you you put him at third, they give you a 7 or a 6th. You're trying to get a 4 out of him. Or whatever you traded Pittsburgh for, you're trying to get 1 more round higher to elevate his value. Dropping him behind Tanner McKee was a 7th round pick or 6th round pick is not helping that movement. You guys are not, again, put the business of football into it as well. Okay? Senor is wrong. Last night, Pickett's numbers on a stat sheet, okay, with 2s and 3s, an NFL evaluator is still going to look at that he moved the sticks with guys who will not be on the team. Are you crazy? Get this. Here's why Senor is so wrong on that. Average quarterbacks and decent quarterbacks are getting exceptional money. Senor, listen to this. Some stupid evaluators will grade Pickett high. Correct. And by the way, average quarterbacks in today's NFL get exceptional money. Why wouldn't you have an average quarterback like Pickett get a high evaluation? Use your sense. Follow the money. Tanner McKee has traits like Nick Foles. He puts points on the board. He's doing that with the 2s and 3s. I would love to see him with the 1s. Remember that, guys. Pickett's below average. No shit. You're trying to sell something at a higher price. Holy cow. Stupidity at its highest. Why do you think Bradbury's still on your fucking team, guy? You're still praying some dumbass out there will trade you for him, right? Because there's no other rhyme or reason. There's no other reason that you would have James Bradbury on your team if you weren't trying to trade him, or you're holding him because you're waiting for an injury. Here's the only reason that James Bradbury's on your team. You are waiting for catastrophic injuries at the cornerback position somewhere in the league. Well, someone will be desperate to either pick the contract up or make some type of trade for James Bradbury, lowering his base salary where Howie Roseman can play a percentage of it and the other team pays the other half of it. And you still keep your cap money. No other reason. Okay, Senor, you and I will agree to disagree. Guys, please hit the like button. You guys are great. Vander Kraus is going to join us at the bottom of the hour here. Before I take a break, I want to talk about Sirianni and what he said after the game. Here's Nick. And our takeaway on Nick. He said that the next couple days are going to have some intense practices. Now we're starting to get into the evaluation of cutting down the roster because you got to make your first cut. Okay? This is going to be significant here. This is going to be big-time cuts coming up here. And they're going to have to start making a decision. You know, it's funny how he handles Tyler Steen's comments when people ask him a question. They don't want to dismiss Tyler Steen in any way. Why? How he drafted him third round pick. I mean, it's the only reason you don't go like this. He's missed too much. You know what's funny? I don't know why the Eagles can't be honest. Man, he's missed a bunch of time. Hasn't really performed that well in camp. And Micaiah Becton has won that job. What's the point? Why not say that? It's evident. Who in their right mind would not think that? I guarantee you Jeff Stoutland's already made that decision. Guarantee you he's already made that decision. He said that the pressure stopped some of the drives in the first half of the game that New England played their ones. Okay? New England played their ones on defense. Keon White, a bunch of other guys. Christian Gonzalez was out there. Saw a bunch of guys out there that are going to be pretty much their ones. But that's how New England has always done that. Actually, I saw more of that being played out last night than I had under the Belichick last 10 years, where you saw more of the guys playing last night. I thought that was pretty significant by Gerard Mayo. That's a terrible roster. Like I said, I don't think Boston College would lose to those guys. They're not very good. He said, without looking at the tape, Tanner and Kenny, isn't it funny? You guys sit here like Senor and debate me on Kenny Pickett and Tanner McKee. Nick told you last night, our number 2 guy is Kenny Pickett. Plain and simple. There's nothing Tyler McKee can do to be the number 2 quarterback on that team. Do you understand that? He's not winning that job. You understand that, right? Get this, and yours trying to fucking put words in my mouth. Remember what I said at the top of the program? Pickett's been outplayed by Tanner. He doesn't listen. I told you Tanner McKee has been outplaying him the entire camp. Last 2 preseason games. Absolutely. But he's not winning that job. 0 chance of him winning that job. 0. 0 chance. 0. Bob Brown says it perfectly. He's long-term. Kenny's short-term. They're going to try to do whatever they can to move him. Kenny Pickett has game experience being in ball games. McKee doesn't. That's not something Kellen Moore probably feels comfortable doing. He'll never win that job. Never. Does McKee have starting quarterback potential? On a bad team, yeah. On the Eagles, no. That team is not positioned for Tyler McKee. You want a veteran quarterback or you want a guy with exceptional talent at the helm of that? I'm not doing training wheels quarterbacking. Why? Why not just go back to Brian Johnson then as coordinator? Why would I want to do that? Put a rookie quarterback who's never played a snap in the NFL behind center and sit there and do that bullshit. You got to be kidding me. 500 viewers. Let's push the button. Guys, appreciate that very much. Thank you, JC. I appreciate that very much, man. Guys, please hit the like button here. Sirianni, yeah. Guys, this is the business of football. Kenny's my number 2. Tanner's number 3. Out of the coach's mouth. He talked about the 89-90 practice plays that the offense got on Tuesdays when it came to not playing as starters. I think it's bullshit. Okay, I think it's complete bullshit. But, hey, that's their call. It's totally their call. We'll see how it plays out September 6th. You said the defense needed more reps. True. Very true. He even liked what Will Greer did. I did too. Here's another interesting comment. I asked about Bryce Huff. Yeah, he continues to improve. $50 million improvement player. What are we running here? Fantasy football camp? What is this? A skills camp? You're the fucking NFL guy. I spent $50 million on you. You're coming along? That's a shitty comment. And it's been shitty all the entire camp. I mean, I have a completely different look at that guy. Watch the film. Know your techniques. Watch the way he takes himself out of plays. It's just like, I mean, he has athleticism. You can see it because he'll run into plays. But he was chasing. He got turned around. He looks just like he doesn't know what he's doing. It continues to improve. That's what they keep saying to me. And get this. There's Bryce Huff sightings. Holy shit. $50 million. I got to hope every other play or every 3 plays, the guy's good. Okay. I guess. They think they got a lot of good work out of that practice on Tuesday. I'm going to take his word for it. They probably really did. They probably really did get a lot of good work out of that. It's very vanilla stuff last night, and by design. What you don't want to do is tip anything off to Green Bay. You're not going to really show a lot of stuff. You're not going to. Hey, how vanilla was that last night? About as vanilla as you can get. Check downs, some crossing routes. There was nothing where you saw exotic crossing patterns and a lot of things. They're all fundamental stuff last night. Why? Well, you're not tipping shit off. You don't want to put anything on film that Green Bay gets a chance to game plan against right out of the gate. You know, every team gets these game films. You know why? Why do you guys think every NFL team will have that film last night and they'll have the 22 and they'll have the game from NFL Films? Why do you think every single team will have that game film, including Green Bay? Why do you think they'll have that film? They're looking for potential guys that you're going to cut coming up next week. Okay? Green Bay's going to have 2 different things. They're tipping anything off. Are they doing anything pre-snap, post-snap? What are they doing on defense with multiple looks, multiple fronts? That high safety 2, they're going to keep an eye on. And they're going to start looking at how they're moving and matching, who they're dropping in nickel, who they're dropping in dime. Okay? So Green Bay's already taken that film and started dissecting it, seeing if there's anything that they could take out of it for September 6th. Okay? Lily goes, Dan, why is Anais Smith looking bad? I don't think he knows the playbook. He's not a very good route runner. And from what I've seen so far, he's got shitty hands. I mean, I don't see it. I don't even, it's like almost like he's unbecoming of a player. I mean, I have not seen him do anything like make a play. Okay. All vanilla stuff last night. That's right, Crowley. All vanilla. He backtracked the last comment that was made to him. Last year, he made the comment. One of the reporters called him on it, Sirianni, that he said, hey, Nick, you said at the end of the year, you regretted not playing your starters in the preseason. It looks like we're going to roll towards that again, where we're not playing them. And he went into this 10-minute fucking answer. And finally, you know how you figure out the answer for Sirianni? The first 10 seconds and the last 10 seconds. The other minute and a half that's in the middle of his answer, is bullshit. So just listen to the first 10 and the last 10. He can answer every question in 20 seconds. Instead, he answers every question in 2 minutes. Absolutely, B. Costello, it's a word salad. So you got to kind of get smart at it. Eventually, you hear it, and he's got a pattern. First 10 seconds, last 10 seconds. That's when you know that that's how the answer is. The shit in the middle is stupid. He says a lot of dumb shit, man. It just doesn't make sense. And I don't know. You got to just dissect his words because he really doesn't say anything unless it's at the beginning or at the end. Then you got to kind of tapeworm it together. It's really weird how he answers questions. But here he is. Now he's backtracking on something else. Well, yeah. Looks like we're not going to play the guys. Okay. New coordinator, new system, practice game, scrimmages, and here we go. Okay. Fair enough. By the way, on August 16th, that's an opinion of Big Sills, Hugh Douglas, and also John Ritchie. And I happen to agree with those guys. I don't think they prepared them. 3 NFL guys versus the media guys and Nick. Okay. I happen to disagree. Guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. I'm going to have my starting 22 also. And we're going to talk with Xander Krause at the bottom. Don't forget, Philly 500 will join us at 4:30. And we will also have the legendary Philly Godfather. That will be at 5:30. Guys, Xander, where are we right now in the like list? You guys have been killing it, man. I appreciate you guys killing it, man. Just absolutely. Where are we on the like list, guys? Guys have been absolutely smoking it. Please hit the like button, guys. Hey, by the way, guys, I told you my honest obsession or observation, of what I saw last night. Wasn't bad. I think they took care of everything. And if they would have played their ones, they would have blown them out. On the offensive side, for sure, they'd have blown them out. Okay? Guys, do me a favor. Please do me a favor. By the way, we really appreciate you guys so much. Really awesome, man. I mean, cameraman Nick must be Irish because he ain't no Italian. Big Dom needs to correct that. Italian. Hey, I appreciate it, man. Thank you guys so much. Please hit that like button. Xander Krause around the corner. Co-host of Burst 365. Keep it here, National Football Show.
Michael Vick at BetUS.com. Catch an incredible 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, plus 10% gambler's insurance. BetUS, my online sportsbook and casino.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
Heading down the shore, have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood day.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
They're carving them up and good play calling along the way. First and goal at the 6.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Win and save this baseball season from Colony Pools and Power Washing, a local company serving Delaware, Delco, and Chester County since 1970. Are you tired of looking at your green house? Is your roof, siding, deck stained green from algae and mold? Let the experts pressure wash your home and take the pressure off of you. Win with Colony Pools and Power Washing. Call them now at 302-762-2250. That's 302-762-2250.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Sales National Football Show. Guys, please hit the like button. Co-host of Birds 365, Xander Krause, will join us at the bottom of the hour. Philly 500 will join us at 4:30 Eastern Time, and then the legendary Philly Godfather will join us. That will be at 5:30. I thought Drake May played well. That's the best I've seen that dude play. I mean, again, I think he's a reach at best. Of all the quarterbacks that were taken, he was probably the second worst that I thought that was in that litter of quarterbacks. I thought J.J. McCarthy, who actually hasn't been that bad, but then obviously now with the knee injury. I want to show you guys something about evaluating quarterbacks and how hard it really is to evaluate quarterbacks. I went back and took a look at this. Check this out here. The 2021 quarterback class, with all the COVID kids, year of COVID. Trevor Lawrence, still journeys out on him, right? This is the 2021 NFL quarterback class. Here's your COVID class. Zach Wilson, whiff. Trey Lance, whiff. Justin Fields, whiff. Mac Jones, whiff. All COVID guys. All during the COVID. Only one quarterback, kind of, has panned out a bit, maybe. The rest of these guys all came during that COVID year. My point is, evaluating those guys and not getting proper tape. Zach Wilson didn't play a ton of games. Trey Lance didn't play a ton of games. Justin Fields' season, what did he play, 4 games? When he was at Ohio State, they shut the season down. COVID came out in 20. 21 was the draft, dude. Okay? 21 was the draft. Mac Jones. Get this. Forrest goes like this. COVID's was 20, dude. No shit, guy. That's the season they played. The draft's in April of 21. Holy shit. Get a calendar, guy. I mean, you need a lot of evaluation when you're looking at quarterbacks. And you need a lot of tape. It's the hardest position to evaluate in all the NFL. And when you don't have proper tape on these guys, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, you need proper tape and you need a lot of game tape on them dudes. Alejandro says, heard John McMullen defending Pickett. Like we know about a third string stuff, but still those passes are accurate from Tanner. Again, Alejandro. John's not going to say anything negative about Pickett because Howie needs that guy to be a guy that they can make a trade for. Dude, you guys, he's not wrong. You're doing everything in your possible power to elevate that guy. Publicly, PR-wise, I'm talking Pickett. You guys are missing it. Howie Roseman wants to get back a return on investment. Not have to. Dude, the worst thing that can happen with Kenny Pickett being cut, him walking out of the building, or this. You trade him for a 7th. When you traded Pittsburgh for whatever it was, a 5th rounder, 4th rounder, I forget what it was. You're trying to get back equity. You're not going to get back equity. And some go like this. Dude, you can always make an excuse up. And there'll always be hey, if you're desperate to pay quarterbacks the money that, how many quarterbacks today are average quarterbacks or decent quarterbacks and get exceptional money? All of them. You traded a 3rd rounder. Hey, Papa Eagle, is that right? You guys traded a 3rd rounder to Pittsburgh for him? Is that what that was? You're not demoting that guy. He'll never lose that second hole spot. He's not losing that second hole spot. Not a chance in hell. Backup quarterback? Kenny Pickett? You traded a 3rd? Fucking never will Tanner McKee ever beat that guy out. Absolutely never. You're never going to hear Nick Sirianni go, Tanner McKee's outplaying him. Never. I guarantee you that probably comes down from the top, too. Keeping Kenny Pickett at the number 2 guy doesn't do anybody any harm. I mean, guys, please hit the like button. You're great. You're not looking at the guys here, and get this, because I don't want anybody to assess anything here. Nobody's ever saying right now that Kenny Pickett's outplaying Tanner McKee. That's not the point here. And that has nothing to do with it. Get this. This shows you the business of the game. How many people believe that Tanner McKee is going to be the number 2 quarterback heading into September? Be a cold day in hell for that happens. As of right now, Kenny Pickett's a 3rd rounder in the Eagle eyes. That's what they've paid for him. Tanner McKee's a 7th. They'll keep Tanner McKee on the roster. They're not letting him go. He shouldn't. Somebody would pick him up in a second. You're not letting him go. But you're not looking at the business. Remember, in the NFL, always start with money, then talent, draft choices, equity in the building, then that bullshit you guys like, good guy, bad guy, whatever that means. I don't care about that. There's no bearing in building a roster. Hey, I got a bunch of really good guys over here. Okay. Yeah, great. You don't win championships with choir boys. Proper. Really interesting stuff last night. Again, I tell you what, like I said, I don't think the Patriots could beat Amherst. However, their defense is good. Okay? They were 8th. How about this? The Patriot defense was better than your defense a year ago. And you won 11 games. That thing finished 8th and won 4 games. Think of how long they were on the field. They were losing games 10-0. I mean, there's some quality dudes. I like that kid, Keon White. I see why they moved off of Matthew Judon. Judon played 4 games last year, and they were 8th. Am I really going to pay $18 million for that? I don't know. I don't think so, especially if I'm in a rebuild like they are. Okay. Let's go to the co-host of Birds 365 with John McMullen. Both these guys do exceptional job. And Mark Farzetta starts our broadcast off each and every single morning. Guys, please hit the like button. Xander Kraus joins us. And We'll get his take on what he saw last night in that game. Xander, how you doing, brother?
Big Sills, what's going on, man? How you doing? Good football Friday with you.
Absolutely, man. Really, really great week for all of us here, guys. We want to thank you guys first and foremost. You guys have absolutely blown up the channel. You guys have blown our show up for sure, and Birds 365 as well. The likes have been through the roof. Look at Prince, even like maybe 400 likes today. So let's see if we can end up. We're at 222 right now. So,
yeah, everybody's killing it, man. We can't thank them enough, right, Big Sills? I mean,
absolutely.
We could sit here and we could talk into the abyss, but at the end of the day, we don't, because these guys are here and they support us. So we appreciate them. And I'm happy you pointed that out and said that to them. But we do. We appreciate all you guys, all of our members, all of our viewers, commenters, chatters, likers. We appreciate you.
Xander, what was your takeaways last night, brother?
I mean, it's preseason football is ugly football, man. That was one of my first takeaways. That's just an ugly game. 14
a lot of twos and threes.
A lot of twos and threes. So it didn't look like it wasn't very pretty, but I thought you had some good takeaways. This is where I love your show, Big Sills, because I was waiting to hear what you had to say, and you definitely expanded my mind a little bit. They definitely expanded my thought process, on everything a little bit. But there's definitely some problems on this football team defensively, and we're going to see, how they're able to mitigate it. But overall, I didn't take too much of it, to be honest. A couple guys I thought stood out, which was a good thing. I thought Nakobe Dean played well again. I thought Bryce Huff finally did something in 10 snaps, which was good to see. But overall, not much else.
Here, let's go down the list here a little bit. Tyler Steen, dude, that job's over. Kai Becton, that's his job. It's over with, man. And I get that they don't want to be committed yet because there's still a couple weeks left in the preseason, but you're going to start wrapping up camp and you're going to start going and getting ready for Green Bay here soon after the Minnesota exhibition game. So you're going to start preparing for that. But that thing's over, man. That guy had the opportunity. It was handed to him, and he just did not do it. Obviously, injuries, you can't do a lot about that, so I'm not on that. But still, to me, dude, I gotta tell you, man, lost opportunity for him.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And now the question becomes, Sills, what we talked about a little bit earlier in the week. Okay, now Mekhi has won the job. Now, how good will Mekhi be at right guard? How will he be a deficiency on the line? Will he be a liability on the line? How does he work with Cam Jurgens? How does he work with Lane Johnson? He's used to playing tackle, so big guy in a tight space now. So that will be the next question on the right guard position is, okay, we know who was the guy now. How good will the guy be?
Absolutely.
Remember, this guy was an 11th overall pick, so he was a major letdown in New York. By the way, if he turns out to be good, Sills, how are New York Jets fans going to be feeling? They got burned on Huff, they got burned on Hassan Reddick, and now they let their first-round tackle go, and the Eagles have him starting on the line.
And they'll never let Howie call Joe Douglas ever again. Two places he's barred from calling. He's barred from calling Mickey Loomis with the Saints.
Yeah.
He's barred from calling three places. He can't call Tennessee anymore. And now he won't be
fired that GM. Howie got that GM fired.
And now
John
he won't be
his name? John Robinson?
Yeah. John Robinson.
He got fired, yeah. So
and that's the guy that took that team to the AFC Championship game 2 years earlier.
Yeah, should have thought about that before you traded A.J. Brown and decided to replace him with Treylon Burks, my friend.
$5 million difference. He would have stayed. $5 million.
For a 24-year-old all-pro wideout.
Trade QB Kenny Pickett and James Bradbury. Edge Patrick Johnson to the Jets for quarterback Tyrod Taylor. Edge Hassan Reddick. Hey, dude, you're looking for the better end of the deal, I see here. That ain't happening, my friends. Hey, no, Xander, do you understand what I'm saying about Pickett, why Pickett will never lose that number 2 job? Has nothing to do with ability. Has nothing to do. Howie Roseman gave up a 3rd rounder for him, guy. If you diminish him.
That's what it was. I thought it was a pick swap.
I thought it was a 5th. I didn't think it was a 3rd. I thought it was a 5th rounder.
Let me look it up.
Because, 5th rounder, I'll eat it. But a 3rd rounder, I'm not eating that, dude. If you gave up a 3rd rounder for Kenny Pickett, he'll never lose that job, dude.
Let me look at what they traded him for.
Because you got to
get. By the way, Takeem, I appreciate the super chat, but that you want to upgrade our backup quarterback, dump a bogus salary on a cornerback.
$11.2 million salary too.
Trade us. I think it's Patrick Johnson's a 7th round pick. Maybe he showed some flashes, to get a 4th round pick back, Reddick and Taylor.
Hey, JAKIB, I like your effort, though. I like your effort, man.
Agreed. Appreciate the effort, JAKIB, but that ain't happening, my friend.
Yeah, no, man. Hey.
Let me look at what we traded this dude for.
I thought it was a 5th, Xander. I didn't think it was a 3rd. I'll eat a 5th. Okay.
All right, so they traded they got back Pickett and a 4th, and then they traded a 3rd. So they technically dropped back 22 spots, and then they gave up 2 7th round picks. So you basically gave up 20. You didn't give up a 3rd. You moved back to a 4th round pick, 22 spots. So however, I don't know how you quantify that. And then they gave up 2 7ths. So
4th round is kind of hard to sit on. I mean,
they gave up pick 98, which
probably
will
wants
change,
to get back a 3rd, though, dude. You want to get back a 3rd.
Yeah, right. You want to improve on your investment. You're completely right on why they're not naming Tanner McKee.
Oh, absolutely. Has Tanner outplayed him? Yes. Did Tanner outplay Marcus Mariota last year? Yes.
Wait, Big Sills, I got to tell you something because you didn't catch. I don't think you get the Eagles local broadcast right where you are, obviously. So you watched the NFL Network, which had the Patriots.
Yeah, I was watching the Patriot broadcast.
Yeah, so in Philly, it was locally on NBC 10, which is like Ross Tucker, your guy Ross Tucker, and shoot, who's I can't even remember the other guy's name right now. Sorry, I'm blanking on it. But anyway, so they're talking, and social media is going crazy with Tanner McKee should be QB2. And then in perfect form in the 4th quarter, Ross Tucker's like, let's go down to Dave Spadaro on the sideline. And Dave Spadaro's like, I know there's a lot of talk about Tanner McKee being quarterback 2. He will not be the QB2 of this team. The team really likes Kenny Pickett in game. And I'm like, they're watching Twitter erupt in game, and they feel the need to stuff Dave Spadaro out there. To quell the commentary online. I thought it was really funny. Just classic controlling of the narrative from the Eagles.
Absolutely, by Bob Lang and his boys.
Yep.
Absolutely. I do want to point this out as we move on here. 6'8", 365, 6'6", 332, 6'3", 303, 6'7", 363, 6'6", 325. I don't know about you, Xander. That's the biggest fucking offensive I've ever heard of. It's not just seen, heard of.
Is it too big, Sills? I know it's a crazy question, but we don't have our quarterback is not tall. He's not.
Always remember something, though, Xander. Big guys beat little guys up.
Well, from that perspective, no doubt. But can our quarterback see the passing lanes over those guys? I think is a fair question at that point. I mean, look, I'm with you, Abe. Bigger is better, and like Big Sill said, big guys beat up on little guys. That's just how it works. But I don't know, man. Jalen Hurts needs like a 5-step drop minimum.
7. No, it could be 9. You might have to pull that Drew Brees 9-step to see over everything. Because Brees was a 6-foot guy, 5'11" and a half guy, and he created this system, and Russell Wilson followed along. Because the lines were so big in front of them, they took deeper drops to go back there. So, let me move on here. Hey, dude, I
get off this topic because now, the people in the chat have got me on the pause and all sorts of Diddy stuff. Let's move on, Big Sills.
All right. I thought Zach Bond played well last night.
Yeah, Zach Bond was flying all over the field, man. Yep. He looked pretty good last night. Good to see finally, but
for a guy that doesn't play inside, and like you said yesterday,
someone said it lipstick on a pig.
Inside, dude.
I know, but it's still lipstick on a pig at this position. We're talking up Zach Bond. He's 28 years old. He's never played linebacker in his life. He's been an edge rusher. He's not an off-ball linebacker, and they have him as an off-ball linebacker. This is where, Vic Fangio's earned the credit, right? So he kind of does whatever he wants. Nobody questions it.
I think no one yet questions it.
No one yet, right? That doesn't mean he's never wrong. I don't think Zach Bond's going to be great. So we'll see, though. I thought it was good that he looked better. But
hey, get this. There was a sighting last night, and I couldn't believe what I witnessed. I don't
think Hurts is 6'2", by the way.
No, he's not. He's about 6'1".
I've seen Hurts. I've met Hurts in person at the Maxwell Awards.
6'1" Max.
Yeah. I mean, I'm 5'10", and I almost felt like I was there with him. So 6'1". Yeah, I don't think he's 6'2", but appreciate the comment.
Hey, man, I saw Avonte Maddox sighting. I thought he made a nice play in the back of the end zone, brought it out. I mean, Xander, I don't think anybody's ever said, I've never heard anyone go, he can't play. I don't think I've ever heard that. But, dude, getting 14 games out of him is a stretch, getting him to be on the field for that amount of games. You get him on the field for 14 games, and he can play that amount of games for you. Bro, that could be a release and bring back. That could be better than even Gardner Johnson.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. No, I
remember
agree.
they cut his salary and then brought him back at a cheaper salary.
Boy, that was a pretty interception too, wasn't it? It wasn't like a
it's
ball.
great.
That was he read the quarterback jumped in front of the ball.
From the snap, he read that.
Yeah, I wonder if he's a guy that's going to kind of win over a coach like Fangio with similar to what we talked about yesterday with the experience, right? I mean, he's got experience. Look, Avonte Maddox's problem has never been skill. Never.
Nope.
Never since he's been in Philly. It's always been staying on the football field. And, I wonder if he's going to earn kind of a little bit more playing time on this team. That was a great play last night. I think he's a good backup safety, good slot corner. They're going to keep him on the team, I think. I think they're definitely going to keep him.
Absolutely.
I don't see how you could move on from him.
All right, ready? N'Kobe Pyrite Dean. He played well. That's the best I've seen him play since he's been a Philadelphia Eagle. And by the way, if you want to look at it, that's who the Patriots are going to roll out their first game of the year because they don't really have a roster. So they played pretty much a ton of their ones. I think there were only 2-1 guys out of the offensive line that weren't in there, but he's put a decent Ravens game and now a better game here back to back. I'm never going to be sold until I see him against Green Bay, but I'll tell you what, it's encouraging on what I saw last night. It was better than what he has shown so far since he's been an Eagle.
Who'd you say, by the way? Sorry.
Kobe.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. I mean, he's making strides quick right now. He's starting to look better like an NFL linebacker, which is a good thing. I mean, this is a guy that we spent a third-round draft pick on, obviously, and he hasn't quite lived up to the billing, but he hasn't been on the field enough to kind of completely rule him out. A lot of it was injury, so I know availability is an ability in a way, but look, I think he can still be something. I like that he's instinctive. I think that's important for linebackers. So I like that part of it. I like him and Trotter right now. Devin White, I'm not sure on. People have been liking what they've seen in the preseason. I haven't seen much from him. Not good or bad, yeah. So take it for what it is. But we'll see. I mean, I think the bottom line is the linebackers are not good enough on this football team.
No.
But the question will be, are they good enough to be serviceable
and durable enough?
Yeah, that's a good question as well, especially if you're going to go with a guy like N'Kobe Dean.
Right. There's more components. Hey, Xander, show the picture of you and
it's me and
Jalen Hurts here.
So look, we're right there, man. He's like 6'1", probably. I was producing the Maxwell events.
All bowed up there, man. Look at that. Got the bow tie on there.
That was the producer. Yeah, that was the producer. The outfit that we wore. So Jalen was in the back there.
I vote on all Maxwell awards.
Yeah, so Jalen won that after his 22 season. I forget what it was. Best NFL player at the Maxwells. So that was backstage. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it might have been that. I was backstage with him. That's when I told the story of the Nick Sirianni handshake. That's where I had the Nick Sirianni handshake.
Oh, that fish handshake of his?
Yeah, that soft boy handshake. So it's not purple, by the way. It's light blue. I didn't pick it. Believe me, I wouldn't pick that if I had to pick. It was a producer. The producer of the show, everybody had the same tux. So the winners were in that tux and the producers, so you could identify us, were in a light blue. It actually looks pretty good in person, but it does look a little goofy in the photo.
Is it a tux?
It's a tux. Yeah, it's a tux.
It looks good.
I mean,
it's a tux. I see the lapel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looks good, man.
Yeah.
All right. We move on here. It's 2s and 3s, Xander, so I'm not going to shit on this here. The penalties, there's like 13 or 14 in the last 2 weeks, but it's because you got a lot of guys in there that, that are, you're mixing and matching. So you're going to get inconsistency there. So I'm not shitting on that too much,
Yeah.
But I don't want to do the penalties. I just hate penalties.
Yeah, that's a fair point. No doubt. I mean, it is preseason, so you're going to get a lot of that for sure.
How about this one here, dude? I don't know where you stand on this, but believe it or not, I had a great conversation. I know John Ritchie a long time. John Ritchie started his broadcasting career out in the Bay Area at KMBR, and he used to come on my show all the time. He and I are in total agreement. I'm sorry, man, but I do not believe not playing your guys any snaps in the preseason is a remedy for you to get out of the gate with new coordinators, new scheme, new landmarks, new offensive landmarks. I completely agree with it 100% that you're not preparing that football team for Green Bay properly. Now,
this
is it's their call.
This is not an Eagles problem.
What?
It's not an Eagles problem. This is an NFL problem.
Well, I see Mahomes and Love, and I see Allen, and I see all these Purdy, and I see all these guys playing. They're going to play this weekend. Mahomes is playing this weekend. I mean, dude, okay, so the Eagles aren't. I mean, since when were they good last year?
No, you're right. I mean, look, if I had it my way, everybody would play probably more than one series. I'd get you out there for 2-3 series. I mean, the whole thing with injuries, I understand it. And
now they did lose Hollywood Brown last week, which, you can go like this.
That's the thing you got to balance. But the other part of it is you can't control injuries in the NFL. But what you can control is if you don't need to put a player in position to get injured, especially in August, that's where I understand the philosophy. I agree. They're not going to be right. They're probably going to come out a little bit rusty. You haven't played game speed, since last season. But, it's the only part of the injuries that you can control is in the preseason. I don't have to put them out there. Do I really think A.J. Brown needs reps? I can't say I do, Sills. I don't think
he does, but I think the unit does.
Yeah, the unit does. So maybe, give him a series. I don't know how much a series would change, but yeah, look, I get it. I get the point. No doubt about it. I get the point, but I also get the other side is what I'm saying where, this game is marred by injuries so much that if you can control it in this instance, why not? Now they've completely delegitimized the preseason in a way. It's almost like put the bottom of the roster guys out there and, it's like Clash of Clans out there. But look, that's where we are. And it's the load management world, Big Sills. It's Mike Fittery puts it in there. It's not just the NBA. In a way, it's the NFL. It's everything. So,
well, here's why I bring it up. Jimmy Johnson did a study with Fox, and he was talking about it the other day to me, and he said this: they polled all the trainers in the NFL, and they said because of the lack of playing time in exhibition football and the lack of game preparation, getting ready for September, this is why you have way more lower extremity injuries, is because players are not prepared to play because of the limited practices that you get when you go into September. And that's why you see a lot of ankle injuries. That's why you see a lot of twisted knees, hyperextensions, why you see a lot of that shin injuries, shin splint injuries, turf toe. And most of the trainers came back and said it's just because of the lack of practice time and preparation. That's what I'm saying.
It's common knowledge. The more you put your body through, in a way, it's the old saying, it doesn't kill you, makes you stronger. So when you work your body hard, like that consistently, your body's going to be more able to handle it. It's like, what's a good comparison I can draw would be like summer feet. You go down the shore the first week of the summer and you can't walk anywhere, wherever you walk, and then by the end of the summer, the bottom of your feet are like rocks, So I get it. From that perspective, it makes complete sense, but it is what it is. At this point, what are you going to do?
Well, one's going to be right.
And in a way, it's all negotiated now too in the CBA with the practices.
Yeah,
so
but
you're never going to go back to the intense practices.
Yeah, but Nick got called out on it by the reporter. Somebody said to him, Nick, you even said at the end of the year last year that you regretted not playing exhibition football. And all of a sudden, then Nick walks back yesterday and says, well, I probably shouldn't have said that. I mean, it just shows you that that's an organizational decision that's being handed down to him. That's not a Nick Sirianni decision.
Well, yeah, no coach wants to practice less, Big Sills. I mean, none.
No, I agree. That's why, again, I mean, it just shows you where he is in the room. Here, let's move on.
Look, this is at the bottom line, though. I understand it from this point. It's a business decision, too risky as all. Like, What do you value more, a rusty game or losing A.J. Brown for the season because he, went out there when he didn't need to for a game that meant absolutely nothing?
Okay, so like I said, we're willing to potentially give up some losses early in the year, not being ready defensively.
You did that yesterday too.
Oh,
if you play the young corners, you'll lose.
Either play the veteran guys, get ready or not.
But that's not true. I mean, just because you make a sacrifice, does it lower your chances or does it have something?
So you think playing younger guys less is okay?
I didn't say that. I just said it doesn't mean you guaranteed a loss.
Oh, yeah. All right. Packers win.
That's big sales. That's the big sales superlatives.
Okay, here we go.
You play that guy in week 1, you lose 4 straight. No, that's not how it works, big sales.
All right. Here, let's move on here. I'm not going to kill Nolan Smith for the hit on Drake May, but, dude, I got to tell you, when I watch him play, he's very average.
Yes, agreed.
He is just very average.
Doesn't have great pass rush moves. Like, doesn't move around, doesn't do anything. Like, he's an undersized guy. If you're going to be undersized, Big Sills, you got to have good pass rush moves. That's how you're going to get free. And it doesn't look like he has them at all. So, I don't know. I'm getting concerned on him. By the way, I feel good about Jalen Carter. I honestly feel pretty good about Jordan Davis. But these Georgia boys better step up. Everybody, Georgia this, Georgia that. Keely Ringo's been okay in camp so far. Everybody had pretty good expectations for him. He hasn't been great. Jacoby Dean has been a nothing burger now through 2 seasons, going into 3.
Showing signs a little bit.
Showing signs, but yeah,
I get it, and I'm with you. Listen to me.
These guys were drafted. We're the Philadelphia Bulldogs. No, we're not. We're the Philadelphia Eagles. Quit that BS.
I'm with you on that here 100%. How about this? This makes this sound even crazy when I say this. I'm not here with it, that I like it, or I'm not over there. But I got to tell you, I'm not really hating that Jalix Hunt pick any longer. I'm more like this. Okay, let's see what they can do with it.
Sills, he's looked better than Nolan Smith.
He's looked better than Bryce Huff.
I mean, remember, he's also playing versus third team guys. So,
but he's also a kid that came from like Houston Christian and some Ivy League school, Cornell, not the Colgate. There, thank you guys very much for correcting my Ivy League schools, Cornell. I mean, I'm not hating that pick anymore, and I want to see, all right, let's see what they have here. But I got to tell you, this Nolan Smith, man, I mean, I don't see it. I don't see it either. How about this? Now, this is going to be a different probably takeaway for you than what I saw, because I watched the game twice. I watched it last night live. Then I turned it around this morning early. I got up at 6:30 to watch it.
Sills had too many Coronas last night. He couldn't take it all in properly.
Hey, it was funny, man. I was just killing these guys too. This is what I saw with Bryce Huff last night. It just looks to me like he really doesn't know what he's doing out there yet. I mean, his misdirections, he was wrong angles, his missteps. It just looked, you can see he's athletic. You can see that he can make a play, but it just looks like he's either fucking overthinking it or he doesn't know the technique. There were numerous times last night in the limited plays that he had that he took himself out of the play.
Yeah, it almost looked like the one play he got to the quarterback. He was like surprised he got there.
It's like, how about this, kid? Smoke a joint, drink a beer, take a shot, do something. Slow it down a little bit. And just stop thinking a little bit. It's almost like he's over. They're like over giving him information that he's just thinking so much out there. His run stopping ability is, I heard Nick last night. Yeah, it's getting better. Bro, I don't want to hear that with a $50 million commitment. It's getting better. We got to have that now. You got to be, hey, if you're not ready in August, you're not ready in September.
Yeah. Well, are you talking about Nolan or Bryce?
Bryce. I'm talking about Bryce here now.
Bryce looked better last night, though, Sills. I thought
that's not what I like I said, you're going to have a different opinion. I watched him, and I thought he took himself out of plays.
Well, he only played 10 snaps. He had 4 freaking tackles.
I thought he took himself out of plays. I thought, once again, that you saw him with poor feet. I saw poor technique last night. I thought he was thinking too much. Again, I saw some plays out there. Yeah, But to
and
me,
listen, I'm going to take your word for it because you played defensive line at a high level in this game, and I did not. So
he showed up last night. He did, but
Right.
still, it's a tech. He's forcing it. That's Ray. It just looks like. That's why I say, Xander, slow it down, kid. Give yourself a shot at the title.
Leave it to Big Sills to tell a professional NFL guy to go smoke a joint and drink a beer. Come on, Big Sills.
Just saying, man, calm it down a little bit.
No, I hear what you're saying. No, your point's well taken. I mean, I thought he played okay last night. I thought he made plays. I mean, like I said, 10 snaps, he had 4 tackles. Like, that's pretty good to me. But like I said, I don't see those guys the way you see those guys. You look at those guys and you've been there, you've done that. You know what it takes. Exactly. So you see the technique a lot easier than I would see the technique. We talk about technique. I really don't see it with Nolan Smith, and that's my eyes. I can't imagine what you see with that. But
God, it's like, you know what? He's out there playing like, that movie Invincible when the guys go out back in Philly and they're playing in the backyard and they're playing football back there. That's what it looks like. He just plays schoolyard football like that. I got to tell you, dude, I'm not a Kenny Gainwell guy. Every time that fucker steps on the field, man, that looks like a different dude. Maybe again, Kellen Moore's offense. I got to say it, man. I mean, he's pretty decent, man. I mean, at least what I'm seeing in Kellen's offense. So, maybe by the start of the year, it completely goes the other way again. And he's fumbling Kenny. But am I off with that when you're looking at him?
I think he's looked pretty good. Last night he didn't look as good as he did in the first preseason game. And I thought Will Shipley looked solid again. Not as good, but I thought he looked solid again.
He's going to get reps, Shipley. Shipley's going to get reps.
I think a lot of this is more on Kellen Moore. I think he's going to, like, Gainwell was never used properly. Remember, he played receiver in college still. Like, he's a shifty back. He's not this like 3-down running back that's there to take up a bulk of the carries. And they weren't using him properly. So I think you got to give credit to Kellen Moore. He's going to use these guys right. But yeah, no, I'm with you. I think he's looked pretty good so far in camp. Eagle fans don't love that guy. So I don't know why, but he's a 5th round pick. Remember. He's been pretty good for a 5th round pick.
Oh, he's overachieved.
Yeah, I would agree. For sure.
He's completely overachieved. Okay. Here.
A Stone, Sills, and Xander. It'd be a fun show. Oh, God. Forrest, I don't think we want that, brother.
No. We don't want that, man. I could barely do one hammered. Okay, let's do this one here. Hey.
You ever text Sills after 6 Coronas, you learn a lot. Let me tell you, boys. And girls.
Yeah. And by the way, it's also really awesome in the morning at 3:30 in the morning. Why? A text message, and I'll just get this from Xander. Why?
No, well, I'll wake up. I'll be getting in bed, finally able to turn my brain off at like 11:45, and I'll get a text from Sills. I'm like, what is this? What is this?
No. I get a text from you in the morning because someone called you
about
a tweet I put up, and you'll go, why?
That's the one way. It's turned. But there's been many other times when you've texted me 3, 4, 5, 6, 10. Sills also doesn't know how to use smartphones. So he texts like a dummy, and you barely know how to read them.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Spell check. Hey, dude, it's the big Sills language. Always remember, we're never wrong here. Dude, help me on this one. What's up with this Bradbury thing, man? Come on. Where are we going? What's up?
I don't know. He's not very good at safety either. So I don't know what they're trying to do. I guess they're just trying to get a draft pick similar to like the Kenny Pickett
think they're holding on to him. The only reason they're holding on to him is because they're looking for catastrophic injuries around the league and hoping that somebody be desperate to give him.
Maybe, but what's the goal? Are you gonna flip him as a corner or flip him as a safety?
Whatever you can get. Anything.
That's why I didn't really understand the whole move to safety. I thought it made it harder to move him. I mean, you had a guy that was an all-pro cornerback 2 years ago. You could have maybe lived on that and got a 5th round pick for him or a 4th round pick for him. Just like the Bears did to us with Robert Quinn. But I don't know. Now they moved him to safety, and people are like, well, he wasn't good enough to play corner on your team. Now you're going to try and trade him to me?
I got a theory on this here. Hang on. The creativity of the defensive player used to be very high. You had the hump move, Reggie White, dip move, Von Miller, head slap. My favorite, obviously, from Deacon Jones. It's a different league now. You don't have that shit there any longer. You don't.
Prince.
It's not the phone. It's Sills. Hey, Prince. You know what, dude? Eat a cucumber, dude. Eat an eggplant. How's that one for you?
Prince has been absolutely ripping apart you
Hey,
and McMullen this week.
Prince, eat a cucumber.
Prince is on a legendary run right now as a hater in the chat of the host, which is really hilarious. Prince, good work, brother.
How about this one? You know what? You want to hear a crazy theory what they're going to do with Bradbury?
Yeah, let's hear it. I mean,
somebody
I'm open to
calls
anything at this point.
Somebody calls Howie and says, "I'll make you a deal. I'll trade for him. You pick up 50% of the contract. I'll pick up the other 50% of the contract. Doesn't go against. You keep that debt. You have still the $27.7 million on your cap. Everything stays intact. You just lower the fact of the money that you're paying out, and you get maybe a 6th, 7th rounder for him. Somebody picks up half the contract, and Howie agrees to pay half. Now,
yeah,
teams do that.
No, I know teams do it. I mean, I think the Eagles are going to be left with a lot of that salary anyway, but it's already in the books. I mean, what are you going to do? They still.
Then why don't you just cut him and take the $4.5 million cap hit?
Because they want to see if they can get something for him.
And he doesn't want to lose that 4.5.
Well, if you're going to eat the 4.5 anyway, don't you might
I'm just trying to figure out why they're keeping him then.
Yeah, but if you're gonna spend the money anyway, regardless of if he gives you anything this year, you might as well keep him until the last second, right? I mean, he's not taking snaps away from anybody, that's for sure. Mm-hmm. Who's he taking snaps from? Like safety, Tristan McCollum.
He could take a roster spot from somebody.
Well, that's where I think you're going to see what happens. I mean, look, if they decide to roster him before the 53, before that initial 53, then I think you're going to have a little bit of that's when I think the real question should start. Like, okay, what the heck is the point here with James Bradbury? Because at that point, remember, we already have tight roster right now in terms of getting it down to 53. You have guys like Patrick Johnson who are showing on the edge that might try and vie for a roster spot. You got good special teams guys at cornerback that they might try and get on the roster. You even got good linebackers that are good on special teams that they might try and stuff on the back of the roster, like Ben Van Sumeren, guys like that. Avonte Maddox is going to be a guy. All of these different players who are right there on the bubble. Now you're going to keep Bradbury, which means you're going to, at that point, you did make a decision to move on from probably a younger guy. I don't know. At that point, that's when you're going to see, really what they're trying to do.
Absolutely. Prince is right. Guys, please.
What does this
please hit the like button.
What does this yes mean, Daniel?
Typical Bama fan.
I actually went there. I'm on a bandwagon. Come on, Daniel.
All right, let's go with Fraudiani here. He had a press conference after the game.
Chiriani. There's a couple.
Yeah, Nick Fraudiani was speaking. I'll tell you what, man. I've learned a lesson about Nick Fraudiani. You ready what it is? Those 20-minute or those 10 or 2-minute responses on a question. Listen to the first 10 seconds of it and the last 10 seconds. That's pretty much what the answer is, because the rest in the middle is all bullshit and word salad.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what you get out of it a little bit.
That would help me too, because good God, I can't listen to him talk.
You know how you can make a soundbite on him? First 10 seconds, last 10 seconds, and you would have a soundbite on him.
Yeah, you're right. I like this too, W. Farrell. I like limp wrist Nick.
Wow. Oh, that goes back to the award show.
It's like the simplest thing ever. Like you're like a young kid and your parents teach you, or whoever you were raised with, is like, hey man, when you shake somebody's hand, look them in the eye and give them a firm handshake. And next year he's like, I'm like, oh God, this is the head coach of the Eagles. You got to be kidding me.
Absolutely. All right, one more here for you. Ready? This is on Sirianni here. They really took a lot out of that 90 plays. They took a ton out of that 90 plays, and they're not just taking any kind of look at the exhibition season at all whatsoever. They don't really care about it. You got a problem with that?
You mean the 90 plays? What, the practice
on Tuesday? Yeah, the Tuesday practice.
I mean, you can't replicate the game reps, but here's the thing: is that preseason? Is that game reps? What you saw last night, was that game reps?
Which game environment?
Okay, that's fair. I'll give you that.
That's practice environment. I mean, are they quality reps? Yeah. For the 2s and 3s? Yeah, those are quality reps versus the practice reps. How about this?
Just the
you're weighing more into that practice than you are into a preseason game?
What's that?
You're weighing more into a practice than you are into
I didn't say that. You put more into my
I'm
mouth.
asking you
I'm
what
just saying that it's not just one team at this point, it's everybody. So the preseason reps in their own regard have lost some of their value. They didn't have that much value. They had some value, but I think even the value they did have with it, which is what you're talking about, is more diminished now than ever. Like, it doesn't even look like, everybody's going, especially the first team guys. Are they even going full speed? Are they going 100%? Are they, you know what I mean? And at that point, it's like, shit, man. If everybody's going to be rusty in week 1 across the league, let's just do it that way. But I don't know. I hear you. I get it. I'm not gonna be the old man though. Get off my lawn and crying about it, because it is what it is. It's the modern NFL, man. I don't.
I completely get it here. Okay, one last thing here. Okay, he made a comment and he was asked about. He was asked about Huff, and he gave you some kind of like vanilla answer here. He's like this, yeah, he's getting better. How much confidence do you think they have in him?
In Bryce Huff?
Yeah.
Well, he didn't get deference last night in terms of sitting. So they don't have top tier starter deference on him. I think they feel all right though. I mean, listen, like I've said before, I think the sum of its parts on that defensive line are going to help Bryce Huff a lot more than we're thinking. I don't think it would be great to have a guy with a little bit more talent or that showed a little bit more and had more pedigree. But, when you're playing next to the guys he's playing against, if Jalen Carter is what we think he's going to be, if Jordan Davis can, condition his body to be able to play late in games, I think Bryce Huff's going to have an easier job. And I know we love to talk about the pass rush or the run stopping and some of that other stuff. I don't know. If he goes and gets 12 sacks, 13 sacks, 14 sacks, are the Eagles going to be happy with what they paid him? At that point, yes. I think they will be.
Absolutely.
I'd like to see some of the other stuff, though. The dominant edge rusher, Sills, is not just getting to the quarterback. I know that's the biggest part of it, but dominant edge rushers, they can handle the run. In fact, they don't get blocked by tight ends, ever. Tight ends can't block that. You think they're going to put a tight – that's how Brock Purdy got destroyed out of a football game, because they put a tight end on Hassan Reddick. And so you got to at least have that. I think Bryce Huff will have that. He looks big and strong. He moved that one tight end out of the way pretty easily last night, but you told me you didn't like what you saw fundamentally, which scares me a little bit, but I don't know. At this point, I'm at a wait. Yeah, I'm at a wait and see on Bryce Huff.
Okay, let's wait and see. Xander, where are we on the like list? By the way, Philly 500 is going to join us.
Like count's crushing it today. Is that 268? Is that right? That's what it says on my end.
Okay.
268, baby.
Fantastic. Guys, please do me a favor and hit
that like button.
Fantastic stuff. You guys are absolutely killing it. And all of our platforms, you guys, our Twitter and our YouTube show right now, everything is absolutely going great. Xander and John are killing it in the morning too, by the way. Xander, great stuff. Are you doing anything this weekend?
Yeah, we got a show tomorrow and Sunday.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Eagles have practice both days, so we'll
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it, Xander.
Appreciate you, Sills. Good week of shows, man. Finish up strong here on this Football Friday. Appreciate everybody in the chat. I'll catch you tomorrow on Football 24/7 and back here on Monday. Thank you, everybody.
Gotcha, man. You guys absolutely fantastic. We appreciate it so much. Philly 500 is going to join us at the bottom of the hour. Stay tuned for that. Hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
Michael Vick at BetUS.com. Catch an incredible 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, plus 10% gambler's insurance. BetUS, my online sportsbook and casino.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
Heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood days.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
They're carving them up and good play calling along the way. First and goal at the 6.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Win and save this baseball season from Colony Pools and Power Washing, a local company serving Delaware, Delco, and Chester County since 1970. Are you tired of looking at your green house? Is your roof, siding, deck stained green from algae and mold? Let the experts pressure wash your home and take the pressure off of you. Win with Colony Pools and Power Washing. Call them now at 302-762-2250. That's 302-762-2250.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Sales National Football Show. Guys, we are going to have Philly 500. That will be at the bottom of the hour, and then we will have our friend, the Philly Godfather. That will be at 5:30. Let me ask you this question here about the Eagle defense. Guys, please hit the like button. You're absolutely killing it. I mean, Prince, I think we got a shot at getting around maybe close to 400 likes today. And you guys have been sensational. I can't thank you guys enough for growing the show the way you have. I mean, we're absolutely killing it here, man. Okay, we're about to hit 300. That's fantastic. You guys, man, we're rolling here, man. We got an opportunity maybe to get a chance to hit 400. So 290 right now. Wow, man. We may have 300 here by the end of the bottom of the hour here. And maybe we could roll towards 400 by – what a way to finish the week off too, man. Here's Hutch here, man. Hutch, I think I haven't seen you before, and I think you're new to the program. Hutch, you've got the best show in the business. I always appreciate the honesty, even if I don't agree every day. Perfect person we want on the program. Never want the cheerleader bullshit, just want to have good conversation about ball. Absolutely, man. That's exactly what we're looking for. And welcome aboard, my friend. That's the kind of listener I want and viewer we want. We want those kind of people. Hey, Sills, you're full of shit. Hey, Sills, you're right. Dude, debate is still alive here. This is not a... Do you understand when you call a radio show in Philadelphia, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, New York, they screen you? Like, look at Prince. Prince gives me more shit. LJ, Twiz, you all do. I've never blocked you. I don't block you. No matter how much shit you talk to me, I don't block you. Why? Well, you help the show grow, even when you're talking shit to me. I don't shut people off because they don't like what I say. That's for other people and other platforms and other social media platforms. They censor people. I won't censor you. I hated being censored. I hate being censored now. Okay? Prince, we agree one thing, right? I don't censor anybody. I don't even know how to do that. I don't censor people. There's some people that just come on here just to be media people Okay, but we don't. Okay? Congrats on understanding the First Amendment skills. First Amendment skills. Thank you very much, Sean. Sean, I've always buyed that. That's my number one thing that I've always had on my program. You disagree? Fine. I love the debate. Why I have an opinion. And hey, remember this too. Some of you guys, okay, some of you guys really don't get it. Italians, it's not who has the right information. It's more about who hollers the loudest. Okay? Even welcome fans of other teams. The fact that other teams' fans show up says a lot. Thank you very much, Forrest. Appreciate that, too. 49er guys are in here all the time. We got Dolphin people in here. We got Bucks people in here. We got Bills folks, Rams, Steelers. We got a ton of people, Packer fans that show up. Guys are fantastic. We just hit 300, guys. Look at that, Xander. 300 likes. You guys are killing it, man. I really do believe we have a shot at 400 likes today before we go off the air. Thank you. Let me throw something that I heard that I think is the most fucked up thing I've ever heard. Do you guys know who Nick Wright is? There's something there that may be true. You guys know who Nick Wright is. Thank you very much, Jack. I appreciate it. Okay? LJ gave us the number 300. That guy can't stand me. Cool. Cool. That's cool. Okay? Do you guys know who Nick Wright is? I think he's a very mediocre sports talk guy. He thinks he's good. Fox is promoting him. I don't think he's very good. But whatever. I'm not a talent evaluator for broadcasters. So what the hell would I know? Okay? He said this about Jalen Hurts. Hey, Pete, how you doing, brother? Appreciate you being here on a Football Friday. Jalen Hurts not throwing interceptions is an indictment on the defense in training camp. I listened to that. I wanted to hear him say that. Is there a Bruce Smith in this era of 200 sacks? Remember this, disciple? The era that Bruce Smith played, would they throw the ball 25 times a game? And he ended up with 200 sacks. Today, they throw the ball 50 times a game. You bet there's going to be a 200 sack guy. There's probably going to be 2 of them, 3 of them. More opportunities at sacks today. Okay? I mean, when Bruce Smith played and Reggie, he threw the ball 25 times a game. Now, you throw it 50. Ball's in the air more. Double the chances of me getting sacks. That's why when you see some of these guys, like Bryce Huff doesn't get 10 sacks in Reggie's era. He gets annihilated because they ran the ball and they didn't throw the ball as much. He would have been annihilated. Okay? TJ Watt would have been annihilated. Okay? That was just a different era of ball. Okay? It's a different era. They ran the ball more and they threw the ball less. Philly 500 will join us at the bottom of the hour here. So I started thinking about that comment that Nick Wright made about the Eagle defense not having a takeaway against Hurts. He's right. Let me ask you something. It's been a month and a half of football, a month and a week of football, right? That defense hasn't taken one football away from Jalen Hurts. What happens when you get into a football game against Jordan Love or better quarterbacks or as good a quarterbacks? Are you going to have the same result? You're playing against one of the you've played against the best player that you've played against all year so far in practice. You have multiple chances on making plays. You've made no plays in camp, 0 in camp. What happens when you get into a game against Love in this real life situation and you got to play against better teams and you got to play against better quarterbacks or as good at quarterbacks? Is Nick Wright got something? I think he does. You can't make a play against Jalen. How are you going to make a play against Jordan Love? I mean, you're making plays against Drake May and Jacoby Brissett and the backup quarterbacks in Baltimore. But you can't make one against your own guy over a month? Patriots had no picks. They had 5 sacks. I mean, is there something to it? I'm asking a question yet. I'm asking the question. Your guy hasn't made a play. And I'm talking about the defensive guys haven't made a play on what you guys call an elite quarterback. Well, what happens when you play elite guys? Hollywood goes, Eagles defense doesn't know how to intercept footballs. Gardner Johnson's been injured too. Okay. Does the scheme allow for the defenders to attack the ball or play passive? That's a great freaking take. Well, let me ask you this. It's a great take. Riding the Bench Eagles podcast. Let me ask you this with this, what he's saying. Does the scheme allow for the defenders to attack the ball or play passive for an offensive mental mistake? What you're saying here then is the Eagles aren't going to have a lot of turnovers this year because of the type of scheme they play with the 2 high. Is that true? Is that what you're alluding to? Don't expect a lot of turnovers from the group this year. Is that what you're saying? It's either one or the other. Right? Agreed, defense is weak right now, but I think they will come around midseason. I think that's what we're hoping for. Jay Fox, I think that's exactly what we're hoping for. It is. It's a damn good take, actually. I think it's about playing odds of mental mistakes occurring. I think you're right. I think you're dead right. You know what, Abe? I'll tell you what. That's another great take. Guys, please hit the like button. You're killing it. I'm glad for an early bye week. I hadn't thought about that, Abe. You give the defense a chance to mature an extra week early. That's a really great take, and I'm assuming that's what you mean. Give the defense another week, see game film, gather themselves. They have to make adjustments early. They can make adjustments early. Maybe the bye week does eventually at the end of the day help them. Hey, and did you ever think of this? Maybe one of the reasons that they're not playing the veteran guys on that side of the ball offense is because, dude, you get a bye early in the year 5, and then you got football the rest of the time. Boy, you got a lot of ball in front of you. You'd like that bye somewhere in the middle or late in the year to give yourself some time. But you got that baby early. And from week 6 on, you got ball for the next 2.5 months every week. Short weeks, long weeks, what have you. You don't get any time off. And you better have a deep roster, because I can tell you this, that bye set up early is good, I think, for the defense evaluation. Poor if you got injuries early or if you got them late. If you got injuries late in the year and you're the Eagles, you're in trouble, especially at some of the key positions. Now, hey, Sills, that's an NFL thing. Agreed. But some of these teams have different buys late in the year. You got to buy later in the year. That's going to be more beneficial to a team, especially a veteran team like San Francisco, if that ends up shaking out where, you got to buy, say, in week 14 or week 13 as you're getting ready to roll into the playoffs versus having one in week 5. Hey, and Jack goes, hey, Jack, I don't remember a team that I've ever covered seeing a bye in week 5. That's got to be like the first week of the byes, man. Wow. And you play the AFC North, which is crazy, right? And you play the AFC North. Okay. Philly 500 will join us in a couple minutes. We'll get his takes on what he's seen so far during the training camp and what he's seen so far in the exhibition. Kelsey himself said early ones are good because they have been playing ball because of training camp, says Josh. Yeah, that's a good take. You're not wrong there. Okay, you're not. Kyle keeps throwing up the name Yannick. How much money, Kyle? What are we talking about here? $6 million? $7 million? What are we looking at here for Yannick? 2 years ago, Yannick had some gas in the tank. How much are we looking at now? I think the most that I would pay for Yannick, I'd pay him on a 1 year, 5.5. Probably wants more. Okay. Let's see here. Dart says, what is CJ going to do when he has to drop in the box to defend the run? Well, he's not very good at it. Gardner Johnson's not a very good run fit slot safety. He's not. He's one of the poorest tacklers there is at that position. He makes it up again at the other end when it comes to being a playmaker. Crowley says the Eagles have the better D-line, better secondary. Dolphins have the better linebackers. The Eagles do not have a good secondary yet. Where are you getting that from, Crowley? That you have a better secondary than Xavier Howard? Where are you getting that you have a better cover corner than Jalen Ramsey? Darius Slay's better than Ramsey? Fuck that. What are you, nuts? And the other corner on the other side's better. Their two corners are superior to your corners. What are you talking about? Try to have some reality here. Yannick could be a good DE addition considering we don't have good defensive ends. Ramsey doesn't care anymore. No, Ramsey didn't care because Vic was there. That's why. I had some observations here, and I'm going to run them down here with our friend Philly 500. And before we go to him, I'll say this to you. On his show, I like his show. I'll tell you why. Because he kind of tells you also, too, a little bit what he sees, unlike some of the radio shows that we have in Philly or somewhere around the country. And this is one of the reasons we get him on, too, because he and I go back and forth. He's got some difference of opinions, but last night, again, a super sloppy game. But you're going to get that with 2s and 3s and a shitty team. Like I said, the Patriots couldn't beat the Boston College Owls, but nevertheless, they played their one defense versus the second team Eagle offensive line. And they also played many of the guys that are going to be their frontline offensive line versus the Eagles' first team defense. So we had some takeaways. We went over them with Xander last hour. We're going to go over them here a little bit with our friend Philly 500, who joins us now here on the program. We appreciate it. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm not a Cowboy fan. It's a wonderful day. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing great. Where's Mark Holmes? Where is he hiding?
He's got to be under a rock right now waiting for that CeeDee Lamb. Hey, between CeeDee Lamb and Dak and Micah, that's all they talk about in Dallas, brother, is hey, by the way, look what they did. They signed a defensive tackle admitting that Mazza sucks.
Yeah, they ignore that part about the signing, though, that he sucks. He's also sharing family photos of Dak Prescott all day long. I saw he does that now. This guy literally did a video saying that the CeeDee Lamb deal was done. I'm still waiting for the announcement of it. Where's that? I don't see it.
Hey, what's your
thing,
definition of Jerry Jones and success? What is Jerry Jones's definition of success, you think?
Well, I mean, pre-salary cap era, yeah, I mean, maybe championships. Now, I think he's just trying to break the record. Ratings, yeah, and he's trying to be the oldest man ever to live on the face of this earth. Dude, let's not forget that. He is. I think he's about 11,000 years old right now. So he's pretty old.
He looks like Skeletor.
Yeah, you ever see he's Emperor Palpatine from Star Wars. That's what he looks like.
Or the guy from Poltergeist. I told you that before. You know the guy from Poltergeist that knocked on the door and goes, "Is the little girl here?"
Yeah, I know. It's got to be miserable.
That's more appropriate for him, is the little girl here, than ever before here. Dallas got Micah running the ball. Dallas sucks. Good night. Hey,
they stink.
All right, let's go to your Eagles here. Your takeaways so far, what you've seen in training camp and what you've seen so far in the 2 exhibition games.
I'll say this. The first thing that pops into my mind is I really wish they would play the starters a series or 2. I just don't understand the mindset of why you don't play these guys. You've got a game on a Friday in Brazil versus a team that could be a potential tie-breaking type game. I worry about that just right off the bat. Why don't these guys get a series or 2? It just makes sense. Now you're going to go in the 3rd game. None of the starters are going to play. So I wish we could see that. And then my other impressions are, there are some positions that I really thought that they were going to be a lot thinner than they are, like running back. I didn't think the running backs were that good behind Barkley coming in, but Gainwell. I mean, I don't think that's Kenny Gainwell. I think that's somebody. That's like a Kenneth Painwell. Somebody. I don't know who that guy is. It don't look like the same guy. And then Will Shipley he shocked me. Like I didn't know where he came from. So I like the running backs. I think they're deeper than I thought going in. And then there are some positions that worry me. I'm really worried about the edge rusher position. I think that's a legitimate concern. I actually feel, in some ways, I'll tell you, I feel a little bit better about the linebackers. I think Nakobe Dean has showed up in some of these preseason games, and Trotter Jr. to me had showed me that he belongs in this league. So I feel good about that. But it just really depends by position. I do not feel good about the depth at wide receiver. Now, you take Devontae and A.J. Brown off the field. All right, I think Covey could play, but he's so small. So I worry about the depth at some positions. And some I feel a little bit better about. And then the edge rusher, to me, is a giant worry.
I loved what you just said here. And let me go down and tell me if you agree or disagree. I said this, that right guard position is completely sold up now by Mekhi Becton. Tyler Steen had that thing handed to him. He had every opportunity to win it. Injuries and lack of production have just taken that thing away. Quite frankly, he won that job basically by the war of attrition and also by just because the guy wasn't able to play in there. You see the same way? That he's won that job
without question. Yeah. And it's going to be interesting to see, because I think with Stoutland, this guy could end up being really, really good. So are you going to be able to keep him? Are you going to sign him? Is he going to want to sign with you? It's going to be interesting to watch Becton, because I don't think that this is just he's just going to come in and play and he'll be okay. I think that he's a very talented guy, big guy, and you letting Stoutland work with him, he may have a really, really good year.
How about this? 6'8", 365 Mulata, 6'6", 332 Dickerson, 6'3", 303 Cam, 6'7", 363 Becton, 6'6", 325 Lane. These are the biggest fucking offensive linemen I've ever seen in my life, dude. I mean, you're going to need one of them, a hairier airplanes to carry these guys from city to city, because that's some big ass weight right there, man.
It is. It is. And you think Barkley ain't glad? I mean, he's going to have holes. He ain't going to know what to do with it. He's never seen holes like this that he's going to be running through. I think the offensive line is pretty good. I thought Keegan was really good last night. Now, I've only watched the game one
2 games. Hey, he's had a really great camp, dude.
He has. I started to rewatch last night's game, but I fell asleep with like 13 minutes left in the first quarter. So it tells you how exciting that game was last night. Because,
No, but wait, I got to tell you. You made a comment about Becton being – if Becton plays 17 games, brother, he's going to be one of the hottest commodities for teams to want to sign and move him back to left tackle. And he's going to get market value of $20 million a year. Eagles aren't paying that. I think that guy, Trevor Keegan, is going to be slotted as your right guard next year at that position.
Yeah.
I think he's played well, man. He's had a really good camp. That was one of my favorite draft picks that they had in April. And I said to people, if that guy's in any other different year, it was the deepest that they ever had in offensive line in the last 25 years. He'd have been a third-round pick. So I really like this pick, and I think he could be somebody.
I got to tell you, I think that if Becton's good at right guard and he fits, I think they're going to try to sign him before the season ends. I don't think they're ever going to
wait. That means you give $25 million to Milata, 20 to Landon, another 20 to now again, what the Eagles do that's different compared to other teams. They give the bag of money up front so the cap hits aren't high. So you think they put one of those great constructed deals together for the guy where he's the heir apparent eventually to Lane?
Possibly. I mean, let's say he goes out there and let's say he plays up to Landon Dickerson, what he did at left guard for his rookie year. If he plays at that level his rookie year, what Landon did his rookie year at left guard, I don't see them just going to let him walk out the door. Not when they've rehabilitated. And if I'm Becton, I'm not running to go somewhere else. If I go in there and establish myself as a Pro Bowler with Stoutland there, I mean, I think there's got to be some value to stay or want to stay. Now, money always talks at the end of the day, so who knows? But I don't think the Eagles are just going to let him walk right out the door if he's as good as I think he can be. And he's got to go do it, but we'll see. But if he hits the open market, of course he won't come back. But I would not be surprised if the Eagles try to get him like halfway through the year, like a deal done or something before he can max out his value. Howie's very good at that.
Guys, please hit the like button here. Another guy who showed up last night. Hey, Zach Bond showed up. I thought he was very productive last night. I thought he filled the gap.
Yeah.
For a guy that's never played inside, and look, I know the linebacking core a little bit. Again, I'm a little bit down on it because I don't think they're very good yet. I think they got a long way to go. However, I thought Zach Bond, I thought he played pretty well last night. And again, here's a guy you really don't know. He's a special teams guy in New Orleans. Philly, you really don't know what he can be yet. And I think Vic likes him. I didn't think he really played all that well against Baltimore, but last night he ran around, and I thought he was active last night.
I thought he was better last night. I thought he was horrible versus Baltimore. So I don't know what we're getting. I think it's a push right now. I have my doubts. I'm just gonna be honest. I have my doubts, but I mean, we'll see. I'm not there at every practice. Yeah, I mean, he's never played the position before. He comes in and all of a sudden he's a starting linebacker, off the ball linebacker. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. And yeah, I understand why you'd be down on the linebackers. Going into the season, that wasn't something I was very high on either, but I am happy with the emergence of Trotter Jr. and I thought Nakobe Dean played well as well.
Here's what I said about Nakobe here, playing last night. It's probably the best I've seen him play as an Eagle last night. I thought he was productive. I thought he made some plays. I thought, again, here's the problem with this guy. He's played 218 snaps in his NFL career. Trotter Jr. has shown me more in 4 months being an Eagle than he has shown me in 2 years being a Philadelphia Eagle. And I just happen to think that Dean, again, I don't want to get into the fool's gold thing here because he's played good in a preseason game. I want to see what that looks like consistently. I want to see Green Bay and Atlanta back to back before we start making assessments that this guy's coming around, because to me, he's been a colossal failure. Last night, I mean, we're talking, this is like this. We're so happy that he made plays last night. It was almost like an epiphany for everybody. You know, when you got a good linebacker, you're not sitting around going like this. I mean, we're not going like this. Wow, you see AJ make those 4 catches? You know, that's what we're doing with Dean. Wow, you see him make 4 plays? And I'm like, well, you know, welcome to the NFL. You should be doing that consistently. So I'm looking for more consistency.
I think that's fair. I mean, he's been hurt. I think when we talk about, like, the linebackers are better than I thought. I think it's got to be in context of what we thought they were going into the season. I mean, we didn't think they were anything. So I agree with you. He's got to show that he can stay healthy and be on the field and play. And I know there's a lot of Nakobe Dean backers who back him. Shout out to Daz. I'm sure he's in the chat. But I still think when Trotter comes and he takes that job, he's not relenting it. Because if you look at Trotter last night, even though he misses tackles, he sniffs out the play. There were plays that he knew what there was going on. He was there. He just didn't finish it. And I think he's going to eventually be the guy. I really do. But it's just a matter of how soon.
How about this, man? It has to be encouraging that Vontae Maddox last night making a play in the back of the end zone, putting it out to the 30. Listen, hang on. Let me finish it here now.
Okay.
I get it. But would you not agree, Philly, that it's never been a conversation on if the guy sucks or not? It's always been a conversation on whether or not the guy could stay healthy. I mean, I know we're talking about a guy who's always hurt and you can't rely on it. But I'll tell you what, you get 14 ball games out of him, and I know that's an if.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I agree. If you get that kind of amount of games out of it, I think you'll be good. I don't like him at safety, though. I will tell you, I don't like when they put him at safety. I like him as a slot corner. I think he should back up Mitchell. And you can use him if he can stay healthy. I agree with that. I think he provides good depth.
How about this, though? If you got at your safety position, Avonte Maddox, and you've got Gardner Johnson. Gardner Johnson's only played 15 games in the last 2 years. Okay? I mean, now you got a guy, Avonte, who's in the slot, who's always hurt. To me, once again, I mean, you're really rolling the dice at that safety position where you're looking at guys either with youth or no experience at all, or you're looking at that stupid Bradbury thing. I mean, you got a lot of issues there. If you have any kind of one injury or not between Avonte and with CJ, there's a rolling of the dice. And I know that Cooper DeJean, I hope they're able to get him on the field against Minnesota just for a couple reps this coming week. But boy, I think they're a little thin back there.
Yeah, I mean, I was big into the idea of going out and getting Justin Simmons.
Me too. Look at what Atlanta has now, Philly. Look what Atlanta has. They got Jesse Bates and they got him now.
I know. It's just too bad they got Kirk Cousins. Because at the end of the day, it ain't going to matter. You have Kirk Cousins. But I agree with you. They do have good safeties. I really love C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Now, yeah, he was hurt last year, and he's been hurt now. They say it's not serious. I mean, we'll find out. But I think C.J. Gardner-Johnson is actually an ascending safety because people forget he's only played the position for 3 years. And in the 2 years, this will be his 3rd year at safety. And in the 2 years when he's on the field, he is a ball hawk. Even if you look at Detroit when he came in for the playoffs, he was very, very effective. So he's just got to stay healthy, and he's really good. Now, Reed Blankenship's another guy, hasn't stayed healthy. So he's got to stay healthy. I think the thing that you've got to do here is I think you got to put Cooper DeJean in at safety and give him reps, Stills. I think that's the thing we have to do right now because you didn't sign a safety like, Simmons. So why not go out and why not put DeJean as a backup safety behind Reed and start getting him reps?
Absolutely. You passed on Xavier McKinney, then you passed on Justin Simmons, and you landed in the draft. So DeJean has to play. And I think this is one of the reasons why Quinyon Mitchell is also playing nickel in the slot is because they're trying to cover that position.
That's such an interesting move. I thought that was such an interesting move.
They're trying to get him on the field.
Yeah, and I like that, but in the long term, he's got to go outside. Am I crazy? I
No,
want him
you're right.
outside long term. But in the short term, yeah, you want to get him on the field. I'm okay with it. But it really pushes DeJean to safety because otherwise he's buried on the depth chart. I think they thought that DeJean would play in that slot and eventually and probably beat out Avonte Maddox before the season started, like Mitchell has already done. So I think the play right now is put DeJean at safety, give him reps there, and start him off there. And I think that'll provide some depth. We will get Sidney Brown later on in the year, but he's come back from torn ACL. That injury takes a full year before you're effective. So I look at him as 2 years away from returning.
You got a couple more in you, man?
Yeah, I go all day. Let's go.
All right, how about this?
Let's light the
Bro,
stars.
Tanner McKee will never win the second position at backup quarterback. You know why?
Well, that's because they don't want him to. Yeah,
that's right.
I have a couple.
Well,
Yeah.
that's exactly right. Because they want to try to trade Kenny Pickett, and they want to try to keep the value of the player up so that look at Minnesota. I guarantee you Minnesota's called the Eagles potentially about trying to sign a quarterback and how he's going to try to get more than that fourth rounder now, and he's going to try to get a third rounder for him.
He better get a third. Did he give up a third rounder for him? Well,
you know what? That's debating right now. I thought it was a fourth. I think we looked at it. It was a fourth. But listen, if you demote him, Billy, if you demote him, you're automatically doing this. You might as well wipe out 2 additional rounds there. You're going to get a 6th rounder for him, even though, watch this, Tanner's outplayed him. Tanner outplayed Marcus Mariota last year. He did. However,
Tanner's a player.
That doesn't really play. That has no bearing that they gave up draft equity for him and are trying to move him. Look what they do, too. You pay so much money for average quarterbacks in the game. You pay exceptional money for average quarterbacks. You know someone's going to panic and give Howie a third for Pickett when there's a catastrophe someplace like in New York if Rodgers goes down again. You know that.
I get it. I totally get it. But there's only one problem. What if Kenny Flickett Pickett, as you call him, is so bad that nobody wants to trade for him? Like, I watch him and I go, I wouldn't give you a 7th round pick for him. I wouldn't give you a Dorito, a bag of chips for him, a donut. He stinks. He can't throw over 4 yards. Literally can't throw over 4. McKee comes in and it's like
you gave a 4th rounder up for him.
You can tell when McKee throws the ball, the way the ball comes out, he's a better quarterback. I mean, if you're judging it just based upon gameplay and what I've seen through preseason, it's not even close. McKee should be your second quarterback. But Pickett, I mean, I just hope that if they're trying to do what you're saying, that he was like 11 of 13 last night. I don't know how the hell he was 11-13. He was horrible. He was horrible.
11 of 13 last night. 11 of 13, baby. Woo! Boy, that looks like good on a stat sheet when I'm trying to make a trade.
I mean, dude, like 20 of his yards came on like a 1-yard dump to Shipley, who made a move and ran for 19 yards. I mean, it's like I thought he was so bad that I don't know if that's the plan. I don't know if it's helping. You know what I mean? Like Bradbury's safety. Like, I don't know if you're helping his value when he looks, because if you watch the game, he does not look like worth a 3rd round pick. I'm just saying.
You started Nate Sudfeld over Hurts before. You're gonna have Pickett on your roster.
I know. Well, they definitely want it that way. That's the truth.
Absolutely. Here. How about this one, Hoss? I'm sorry, man. Nolan Smith is average. I just don't see it, man. I mean, holy shit. It's going to be Sweat and Huff as your edge guys, man. And, man, Nolan Smith, that guy looks lost out there on that field. He just does not look – does that look like the 30th pick in the draft to you?
No. He looks like he needs a lot of reps. I mean, I'll say this for him. He's fast. His closing speed when he gets the straight line to the quarterback.
There you go, Philly.
right? But he has a lot of work to do. I'm just trying to be positive here. But I mean, you know, I need to see more from like I said, that's why it's one of my biggest concerns is this edge rusher position because I mean he might be good down the road, but he's got to play, he's got to develop. He's not ready yet. I can tell you that. And I will say this. I don't know what to think about Bryce Huff. I don't have an opinion either way.
Let me tell you what I saw last night of him, okay? This is what I saw last night. There were some plays in the 10 plays that he played, okay? But if you go back and watch the film, I watched the game twice. You fell asleep during the game that you were going to watch twice. I watched
the second time at 13-13.
Do me a favor and text me later. But this is what I saw. He took himself out of a couple of the plays. He looks like he really doesn't know what he's doing out there in the technique and in the scheme. He's got athleticism. You see it, and you see what the Eagles see in his athleticism. But at the end of the day, I mean, it just looks like he's really overthinking everything. And that you got to see, he's being thrust into a position where he's never played and being asked to be an every down guy. He's got to play the run. Nick was even asked after the game last night. He goes, it's a work in progress. Hush, you spent $51 million on the guy. That can't be a work in progress. He's got to be
he has
Bryce. He's got to be Hassan Reddick at least.
He has to give me at least 10 sacks this year, and you know,
and that's even a downgrade.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, because of Reddick. Yeah, I agree. I don't know. I mean, you know, I was really shocked that the Falcons traded for Judon. Because I thought that was a guy that we could target like around the trade deadline. You know, he would have been a perfect addition to the Eagles for 1 year. But yeah, I worry that's my biggest worry. That and the third wide receiver spot, you know, those are the two biggest question marks I have about going into the season. I don't know how it's going to look. You know, I believe that the interior of that defensive line is going to be really good, and I think they're going to mask a lot of things, but who's going to step up on the edge? That's going to be the question. Huff, Nolan Smith, will Josh Sweat return to form? I think that's a legitimate, fair question to ask going into the season. Absolutely.
And remember something. I want people to stop saying that Bryce Huff's a great pass rusher because he's not. He had a really good year with 10 sacks. You know, the rest of those years have been marginal to below average at best. Okay. I mean, a great pass rusher is a guy who has that double-digit sacks the entire time of his career. You know, only Reddick and Myles Garrett are the only players in the league with double-digit sacks the last 4 years in a row. I mean, you gave up a guy who's in the room with Myles Garrett. Okay. That's a great pass rusher. Okay, now he's limited also, but at least one thing Reddick gave you was elite pass rushing skills.
Yeah, okay? Especially in the fourth quarter. When you have a lead, you're up 4 and you need to close the game out.
Absolutely.
That's the trade. I mean, listen, I'll go get Reddick back if it was up to me.
Would you give the third round back? Would you call up the Jets and go, here's your third back?
I'll give him I'll take him for a fifth. Yeah, you know, I gotta win. I think
you still want to win the deal, huh? All right.
I want to win. Well, yeah, it's Howie Roseman. If he did that, it would be unprecedented, right? Like, dude, Howie would establish himself as the king to trade Reddick and then get him back and come away with a third round pick. That would be genius.
How about this?
It wouldn't happen.
You know, the Atlanta Falcons traded for Matthew Judon. They don't have a deal on the table with him yet.
I saw that. I don't understand why these teams.
Him and Reddick don't have a deal in New York. Judon doesn't have a deal in Atlanta.
Now the thing with Judon though is he was at camp for New England, so he showed up. I assume he's going to show up in Atlanta, right?
Yeah. That's what he said he's going to do.
But Reddick told them, "I'm not showing up without a deal." I mean, I can't believe the Jets would pull that trade. Knowing that, I think it's crazy.
Couple last ones here. I thought the O-line got pushed around a little bit last night, especially by the now again, you got to remember something about the Patriots. The Patriots were 8th in the NFL in defense last year, so their unit is pretty good. You know, we talk about Matthew Judon. He only played 4 games last year, and they were 8th.
No.
So that guy, Keon White, looks like he's somebody in the room because he had some good pressure last night. The kid they got from Georgia Tech the year prior to that. So, I mean, are you concerned about the depth level of the old line? Because, boy, they didn't look very good last night.
No, I don't think they did, besides maybe Keegan. But no, I'm not worried about it. I trust Stoutland with my offensive line. And it was like that was like third string guys too. No, I'm not worried about the offensive line. I did think they got manhandled. I do, but the one guy I trust is Stoutland. If Stoutland says I need this, I just say do it, and I don't worry about it. And so I think they'll be fine. There were some guys that looked really bad, though. I'm not gonna lie. But I think overall, I think they'll be fine.
2 more for you here. Nick Fraudiani. I gotta say, Nick Fraudiani last night. I mean, dude. You know, I've got a new way of getting his words when he does an answer to a press conference. I told Xander this. Take the first 10 seconds and the last 10 seconds, and the 2.5 minutes of bullshit in the middle. Just take it out because it means nothing. Because this is what he's actually saying to you. How do you think he's handled himself so far during the training camp here? By the way, too, Jason Kelce came out. Obviously, the Eagles wanted it out that he basically said it was the coordinators a year ago without mentioning Nick Fraudiani in any way, shape, or form on what the meltdown was in 23. Just your take on him and what he is going to bring. What does he bring to the team this year? Coffee?
Cannolis?
Coffee and cannolis?
I mean, I guess he'll be a good manager.
Are you concerned about him?
Be a go-between? Yeah, of course. He might be the biggest concern. Yeah, I think that if he stays out of the way of the coordinators, I think we'll be fine. If he starts interjecting himself, I think it'll be a problem. To me, it's been really quiet with him. He's an afterthought. When they run a play on offense, I think about Kellen Moore and what's going on with Kellen Moore and Jalen Hurts and those guys. When it's a defense, I think of Fangio. I don't think about Nick at all. He's just kind of there, and I expect that that's the way it's going to be. You know, and for the better. I mean, you know, I'm sure there are things that he does really good. Just don't get involved in the offense. That's all. Just stay out of the plan.
Probably makes a good pancake, or he probably makes a decent sauce. That's all.
Maybe
I'm saying,
he rolls good meatballs up. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, maybe he rolls good gabardines. I don't know, dog. Because
I don't know. But what did he do? I mean, I don't know what he did last night. I had the New England broadcast. They don't even show you the sideline of the Eagles. So I have no idea what he did or didn't do.
Hey, you should have seen it last night. Xander was telling me that the local broadcast had to break in because social media was blowing up. Get rid of that Pickett guy. He fucking sucks. Tanner McKee, he's the guy. And so they went down to the sideline guy, Dave, and he goes, Tanner McKee, he's not the number 2 guy. It'll be Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett.
And that tells you.
Guarantee you, Bob Lang and everybody's like, you got to get the word out because I guess they.
Yeah, you have to. Oh, they definitely did that. And that tells you that they're trying to build up his equity. That's exactly what it is. If they felt the need to do that, when you can see just watching how bad Pickett looked, then definitely that's hilarious. See, I wish we would have had their broadcast because.
Dave Spadaro was on the sideline, and they went, Kenny Pickett is not. He's not the number 3. By the way, even Nick came out and went, Kenny Pickett's my number 2, and Tyler McKee is my number 3. You know, McKee's more of a future guy. Pickett's a now guy for them to trade, and this is why they're doing that. They're not doing it for any other reason.
Well,
they're trying to bullshit someone.
Let them work. If the Eagles need to help, all they have to do is call me. I'll be like, look how good he looks. Look at Pickett. Whatever we could do to up the trade value and get rid of him, I'll help them.
Folks, you see what he just did? He took a page out of Mark Holmes on how you promote shitty players. Right there, right?
I learned from the best. I learned, Mark's guy, he's posting portfolios of Dak Prescott's family photos now. It's really, it's getting, it's sickening what he's doing. The
Dak's sitting on Santa's lap.
He's got Dak and his girlfriend or wife and baby. And I mean, like, I don't know. He's losing his mind. He ain't going to make it through the year. I'm telling you.
Fan. I would too if I was a Cowboy fan. I mean, what are you rooting for? I'm telling Philly, if they don't get CD signed and they don't get some sort of stability at running back, they're going to win 5 games, man. You know what? I don't know where where are they talented? In their old line? They're kind of. Their quarterback? Kind of. Their receivers without CD?
Good.
No.
Dak
their tight end's decent. They had to go and make a trade for a D tackle because their pick sucked.
That's what they're all ignoring. Yeah, they're ignoring that part.
You know what I've been doing? I've been trying to hammer that point. When you made that deal for that DT for the Giants, it's in division. It's in the division too. They made the deal.
I know.
Okay, and they had to
I don't trust
anybody.
Anybody the Giants are willing to trade or cut, I don't trust the Giants. So, I think where Dallas is really going to be hurt this year is they got no run game. Like, there is no threat of a run game. Even Pollard provides a little bit of respect. I don't think anybody's going to respect Zeke and that run game. So I think they're going to come off really one-dimensional. And I think in the fourth quarter, they're going to have some problems when they're up. Maybe they're winning a game. They're going to lose some games late because I don't think they've got a run game. And I think it's going to hurt them.
Absolutely. When you got Ricky Ricardo and Zeke Elliott running the ball,
right?
You're not going nowhere, buddy. Hey, tell people where they can find you, Big Fish.
Just type in Philly 500 and I'll come up. You'll see my beautiful Denzel Washington looking face.
Yeah. Brother, I appreciate it. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, man.
You got it. That is our friend Philly 500. Absolutely sensational stuff. Guys, where are we in the likes, man? You guys have absolutely been sensational. You guys have been great this week, man. I want to thank you guys a lot, man. Where are we on that like list as we get into the final hour here? By the way, the legendary Philly Godfather will join us at 5:30. We're looking to try to get to 400 likes by the end of the program. That was absolutely awesome. You guys are great. We're going to reset here in a little bit. By the way, I'm going to give you my starting 22. We're at 350. Guys, we're 50 away from 400. That's insanity. Guys, you really killed it today, man. We got a final hour of the program, okay? Final hour of the program. We so appreciate it. You guys have been great. By the way, want to do this here. I want to thank all the folks over at BetUS. Guys have been absolutely sensational. Guys, if you're looking for a brand new book for this coming football season, BetUS is your place. And with our relationship now with JAKIB, I can't thank the folks at BetUS enough to have this great relationship with us. 125% bonus on your first 3 deposits of up to $2,000 makes it happen for you, just like that. Also, you can have 200% of a bonus and deposits right there with crypto. Incredible. Go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. Home of Michael Vick, fastest payouts in the business, 24/7, personalized service, 365 days of the year. Live wagering on all major ball games here. And by the way, if you want your own private and personal account executive, you go ask them and they'll hook you up right there with your own executive. That's betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. And do me a favor, tell them Big Sil sent you.
Michael Vick at BetUS.com. Catch an incredible 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, plus 10% gambler's insurance. BetUS, my online sportsbook and casino.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
Heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood day.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
They're carving them up and good play calling along the way. First and goal at the 6.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Win and save this baseball season from Colony Pools and Power Washing, a local company serving Delaware, Delco, and Chester County since 1970. Are you tired of looking at your green house? Is your roof, siding, deck stained green from algae and mold? Let the experts pressure wash your home and take the pressure off of you. Win with Colony Pools and Power Washing. Call them now at 302-762-2250. That's 302-762-2250.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Sales National Football Show, Football Friday. We appreciate everybody. We're going to reset. I'm going to give you my Eagles 22 right now for August 16th. Still another exhibition game. Next week are cuts. So we're getting closer to that 53-man active roster on Sundays, plus 19 on the practice squad. Can you imagine that? Like I said, when I played ball, only 47 guys were active. 47 guys made a team. You couldn't hide anybody on IR. You went on IR, you were done for the year. So let me do that again. 47. Okay, so right now, 53 and 19. 72 guys make football teams nowadays. I was the last player cut twice. I'd have played 10 years in today's NFL. 72 ball players make it? Like I said, back in the day, 47 made it. Shit, before that, 37 made it. I mean, that's a ton of players. 72 ball players will make the Philadelphia Eagles with practice squad and with their Sunday roster. I mean, holy shit. That's a lot of – hey, by the way, awesome. Awesome that more kids get an opportunity in having jobs. Legendary Philly Godfather will join us. That'll be at 5:30. Before I get into resetting – and also my top 22 Eagles as of right now. I had to put my ballot in for my top 10 college football teams. I got FSU 10th, Missouri 9, Penn State 8th, Michigan 7, Texas 6th, Ole Miss 5th, Bama 4th, Oregon 3rd, Ohio State 2, and Georgia 1. I think the top 4 teams right now are Bama, Oregon, Ohio State, and Georgia. It's going to be very interesting to see this college football season. Can't wait to see how this thing shakes out. Okay. JB goes, Dan's dreaming. Really? Get this. This guy can't add. Only 47 players made it when I played. 72 make it today. And I got 4 years credited, even though I was active for only 1.5. Okay. So, yeah. Oh, you're right. Probably so. Thanks, JB. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Try to use a calculator. Going to the Oregon opener. Pretty cool, man. The program's really starting to come around here, man. What about the 11 to 12 because of the playoffs now? Just curious. Yeah, I got you, man. I think that's going to be very interesting to see how this thing shakes out with that new tournament here, too. Do you think Saquon would get 1,500 all-purpose? I think around that number. Get this, too. Hey, JB, 1,500 all-purpose? I think he plays in 15 games. Get this. 10 tackles for 4 years is elite? No. I got 3 years average career for an NFL player's 3 years. So I was average? Okay. I got a pension. I don't know. Huh? I have an NFL pension. Do you? Anybody? No? Okay. Just checking. I have a pension from the National Football League. Do you? Just asking. How many people with pensions in here from the league? Well, since you weren't very good in the NFL, I know. I got a pension, though. Do you? Okay. Just checking. I know a guy who has a pension with the NFL. You know me, Eduardo. You know me. Hey, that's right. Good enough to get a pension. I wish I had my card down here. I got my pension card too, my NFL pension card. I'll show it to you. Oh, yeah, I will Monday. I'll show it to you Monday. Hey, Eduardo goes, I know a guy with a pension. Eduardo, you know me. All right, let's get to Big Sills 22. Eagle 22. Let's see here. There we go. Then we're going to reset on what we saw last night. There's probably some people getting teacher people here. Yeah, probably so. That, by the way, that's a great pension. Teachers union. Holy shit. I'll make this point to you, Yale. The teacher pensions are probably better than the NFL pensions. Hey, Yale. I concede. The teacher pensions are probably better than the NFL pensions. Okay? You got me. Hey, by the way, I said I got a pension. That doesn't mean it's a good one. Okay? Hey, that doesn't mean it's a good one. Hit the like button, guys. We're trying to get to 400. Okay? Forest Hill, Sills was a bust. I was. Yes, I was. Crowley. See, unlike WIP, yes. Absolutely. Hey, man, was it meant to be? When I got sick and almost died, and I got meningitis, was it meant to be? You know, God knows what would have happened in my career if I didn't have my last rites read to me. I thank God I'm alive. My aunt is glad I didn't play. Okay, she's glad. Okay? It's all good. Crowley, it's all good. I'm not trying to. How did you get 4 years credit for a year and a half played? Well, you can be inactive on a roster like I was in Dallas. When I was signed with the Cowboys, they had me inactive, and I was on IR. You get your pension. you don't get a full pension. You get a pension. You don't get the full pension. Like you don't get like 15 years of medical. You only get like 6, I think it is. Something like that. So it's not a full pension. Anyway, here's my 22. Tony, thank you. No, it's all good. Hey, Tone, I didn't mean to make Crowley, because Crowley knows the story. Okay? He knows the story. NFL is cheap, senor. God, you have no idea, man. Hey, I still have my Reggie White check that I got. Hey, senor, I still have my Reggie White check stub for my settlement because Reggie was the guy who invented free agency. You guys know that, right? Norman Brayman invented free agency. You know that, right? When Reggie got free agency and he won that settlement, I got $985, I think $985 for about a week for about 3 years. Can you imagine what the big money guys got? Okay. Can you imagine what the big money guys like Montana and them guys in Elway back in the day were making a week? I got $982 a week for like 2 years every week. And it was cool getting $1,000 for doing nothing. But Reggie White settlement. Reggie invented free agency. Okay? I mean, it's cool. All right, guys. Jonathan, thank you. My wife says the same thing. People hate non-Dan, but played. Hey, by the way, 56 player taken too. How you doing? Okay. 56 player taken. $300,000 signing bonus. I got Jerome Brown salary for about 2 years. Pretty cool. Back in the day, hey, Yale, back in the day, making $300,000 a year, 1987. I think that comes out if you put that in the hey guys, if you put $350,000 into the calculator for 1987, how much is that today in today's money? God, it doesn't even hold any water though, man. That was like top flight money in 87. Okay. So if you put that in the calculator, what would that be worth today? And Javon Hargrave signed a contract for $20 million. Yale says, okay, it's $1 million. So what I made in 1987 was the equivalent to today, $1 million a year. I did that for 2 years. And I'm like, okay, now you look at some of these salaries these DTs are making, $25, $35 million. Holy shit. Holy shit. Right? I probably, Kyle, it's probably $1 million, maybe a little more. I don't know. Still, yeah, no, I got it. I showed you my $45,000 incentive I got from the Bucks. Okay, we're off topic here a little bit. Guys, we're almost at 400. Thank you, Dylan, for keeping an eye on that, man. Holy cow, that's really cool. Okay. Kyle says 971,000 sales. Okay. Cool. All right. Here's my starting 22 as of August 16th. This can change. Hurts, Barkley, AJ, Devontae. You guys are going to be shocked. Who do you guys want to see? Sills played for the Steagles. The funny, man. There you go, Slagger. This is what Slagger says. God, that's still cheap. Good guess on $1 million. Google says 967. Damn. Not even $1 million. Fuck. Damn. Dude, we're 8 away from 400. That's exceptional today. Who do you guys want in the 3 hole for the Eagles? Can I tell you who I got there? Britton Covey. I got Britton Covey at 3rd wide receiver. I'm putting him there at the 3rd wide receiver. You know why? He's the most reliable guy they have. Not putting Shipley there. Shipley's going to get touches out of the backfield. Thanks, Prince. 6 away, guys, from 400. Yo, you like that? Britton Covey in the 3 hole. Okay, for the Eagles. So you would have Devontae, you would have AJ, and Britton Covey as your 3 wide receivers. Edelman dump off. Yeah, you like an Edelman guy. Just exactly like an Amendola or an Edelman dude. Okay? You know what, JB? I think Renfro's thing is injuries. I think it's injuries on why that he hasn't been signed yet. And I think teams are a little bit nervous. And maybe he's also waiting for the best opportunity for him. That's right. Forrest brings up a great point. And Covey's not afraid of contact. He's our Wes Welker. Okay? We hit 400, guys, and our likes. Wow. What a smoke job today. Prince, take a bow, Prince. All of you take a Prince. All of you take a bow now, man. Good shit, dudes. You guys smoked it. Standard operating procedure, Dallas Goedert, Mulata, Dickerson, Cam, Bakaya Becton is your right guard. Maybe we can get 420? Oof. Not that that implies anything. Hey, Prince, 420? You know, I mean, hey, why not? And of course, Lane. All right, your defense. See ya. I'm out. Hey, Prince, have a great weekend, bro. Okay. To me, Lane Johnson is the key to the online sales. Yes, absolutely. Seals better light went up if we hit 420 today. I don't know. Okay, here we go. Here's the defense. Ready? By the way, Philly Godfather is going to join us soon. Edge rusher, Bryce Huff. I got 3 interior D linemen. Carter, Davis at the nose, Milton Williams. In your outside rusher on the other side, strong side, Josh Sweat. That's not a bad-looking front. That's not a bad-looking front 5. Okay? Sweat, Milton Williams, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Bryce Huff. That's not awful, man. Okay? Here's where you get in a little trouble. Zach Bond and Devin White are your interior linebackers. Has to be the worst unit in the NFC East. And here's your secondary. What about Nolan Smith over Sweat? Never happened. Nolan Smith is not, he hasn't had a good camp. He hasn't. And here's my back end. Slay, Reed, CJ, and Isaiah Rodgers. That'll be your defense. I think it's going to be interesting, man. Hey, by the way, the non-playing of the veterans, we're going to start that off here in a second with my friend Philly Godfather here. And we're going to get his takeaways on that because, you know, they're really like one of the only teams that haven't done that and haven't played their starters. Mahomes is playing this weekend. Allen's playing. Burrow's playing. Burrow has played. So let's bring in our friend, the legendary Philly Godfather, get his thoughts in here right now. Brother, how you doing, dude?
Never had a bad day in my life, Dan. God bless America.
How you doing, man? All good. Hey, by the way, where are you on this that the Eagles, when Nick Sirianni was asked the question last night after the exhibition game, it's funny because one of the reporters in Philly called him out on it because at the end of last year, he said that he regretted not playing the veterans in the preseason. Last night, he had to walk that back because it doesn't look like they're going to play. They're surely not going to play him in the Minnesota game. So just your takeaway on the only time that the ones are going to get any true game reps are going to be September 6th. Your takeaway on that?
It's always nice to get some reps under your belt. But at the end of the day, how many reps are they really getting in these games? They're professionals. They get paid to play. Maybe they start off slow in that first quarter, the first game of the regular season, but they're traveling down to Brazil. I mean, so many other things can affect that team. I'd be focused on keeping that team on the straight and narrow path down there, staying away from the women and all that stuff. That's what I would be looking for, to try and protect my players down there more than anything. A couple snaps here and there. I don't really think it's going to make a difference.
What's your takeaway so far with their camp so far and what they've been doing in preparing for the upcoming 2024 season? Have you liked what you've seen? Have you not? Do you think there still needs to be more work? I mean, just some of your takeaways here.
Yeah, there's definitely more work to be done, but they're playing in probably the easiest division in the NFC side this season. Unless the Commanders come out there and play their balls off with Jaden Daniels and surprise some people, which they might. I think Dallas regresses. I think the Giants stink. So the Eagles have that, a little bit of a leeway to get things going. But yeah, I think they look good in camp. They've won these games. Jalen Hurts looks like he's fit. He looks like he's maybe back to that 2022 Hurts. He's got the eye of Tiger back. But I'm still big on this team. I bet them to win the NFC East at plus 120. Right now, they're the favorites at minus 120. And I still think San Fran's a little better than them. I think the Lions are better than them. But other than that, the Eagles might have the easiest path to get to the NFC Championship game this season.
You think the Packers are better than them?
I think it's pretty close. Jordan
You
Love.
think that's a coin toss game, right?
I think it's a coin toss game. Yeah, I mean the spread's 1.5 on a neutral field, so that basically tells you it's a coin flip. It went down to pick 'em. Now it's back to -1, 1.5, depending on what sports book you mess with. But yeah, the game's a coin flip. So those teams are evenly matched, and as we all know, the littlest injury, on these teams could shift on who's better and who's not. So you got to stay healthy. That's huge in the NFL. And the healthiest teams down the stretch usually make the playoffs and go deep. So you really got to stay healthy more than anything in the NFL this season.
I watched Caleb Williams last week, and boy, I'll tell you, I like the pink fingernail guy. I thought he was pretty good out there, man. I thought he did some things. Does that move the meter at all on the Bears? I mean, they got an awful good-looking roster. If you look at their roster, I mean, O-line's improving. They got DeAndre Swift now. I mean, dude, if the kid plays well, like he did this past weekend, now look, it's exhibition football. I'm not going to freak out over it here or anything, but he had over 100 quarterback rating. But if he could put that kind of stuff together, could the Bears make a move?
That's a tough division, man. I think there might be about a year away. Rookie quarterback, history tells us they don't fare too well in the playoffs. They don't go really that deep in the playoffs. He looked pretty good. I didn't like the fact that some of those drives stalled in the red zone, where you saw Jaden Daniels going down there and punch it in and score.
God, he looked great.
Yeah, he looked. Now Caleb Williams is the odds-on favorite to win the Offensive Rookie of the Year, but Jaden Daniels is right behind him. So I mean the Bears 8.5 wins, 9 wins would be a good season for that team.
Do you think the NFC East has regressed since 2022?
I think the Cowboys aren't going to be as good. I think the Eagles are still there. And, I would say they regressed a little bit. Yeah, absolutely.
What do you think is the best division in the NFC? North?
It might be the NFC North. You got the Lions, the Packers, the Bears might win 9 games. You might have 3 teams above 500 in that division. So that tells you right there. The Rams are going to be really good. I mean, the 49ers, obviously, they're stacked.
What do you think of Seattle?
Seattle's supposed to be really good. And Arizona, people are sleeping on Arizona.
No, I think they're going to make a move.
but I bet them over 6.5 wins. So I think they win at least 7 games this season. I would say the NFC North is a little tougher than the NFC West. Yeah.
How about this, man? Of all things, the Eagles this year on their schedule get the AFC North. You know, you and I talked about the North last week, bud. Joe Burrow says that he's ready to go for week 1 now. Now you got all those quarterbacks that are in that division. I mean, you know, boy, you know, you could actually have a wild card team out of that division win the Super Bowl.
Man, you got, you know, I took the Bengals at 14-1 to win it all. As long as Burrow stays healthy, he can beat anyone. He's the only active quarterback that's beaten Mahomes in the playoffs. You got the Ravens. You look at their numbers, their analytics, their metrics, better than anyone in the NFL. I mean, last year their numbers were better than the Chiefs, but obviously the Chiefs have Patrick Mahomes, and it's hard to quantify greatness. I talk about that all the time, so I would give them the slight edge. But defensively, who's better than the Ravens? You know, stats-wise, nobody's better than the Ravens. And the Browns, if they can stay healthy, it depends on how Chubb, you know, comes back. He's still a little banged up. The Steelers, I mean, they can surprise some people. Yeah, that's one of the toughest divisions in the league.
How about the moves that the Atlanta Falcons have made? How much has that moved the meter now? So they end up signing Justin Simmons. They put him next to Jesse Bates, who they got a year ago from Cincinnati. So their safety position is arguably one of the best in the NFC now. And then you add Matthew Judon, who didn't play a lot of ball last year, played 4 games, but prior to that had 30 sacks in 2 years. I mean, had 27 sacks in 2 years. I mean, you're talking about a pretty good-looking football player. If he could stay healthy now, plus you got Pitts, you got Bijan Robinson. You know, you could say whatever you want about Cousins, but he's a 4,500-yard passer, 30-touchdown guy every year. He's going to put him in a conversation at least. You know, I think people dismiss him. I mean, for a guy who, and I get it, he hasn't gone to any conference title game or this or that, but neither did Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers went to 1 AFC championship game. Dan Fouts went to 1. Warren Moon never went to 1. So, I mean, you're talking about a guy who's put up a lot of numbers. How do you look at Atlanta?
I mean, they're definitely a sleeper. You can get them at 30-1 to win it all. You might have an opportunity to hedge in the playoffs, 13-1 to win the NFC conference. They're definitely going to be a tough out for anyone that plays them on a week-to-week basis. They got, you know, down in Atlanta, they're going to have a good home field advantage down there. They're going to surprise some people, and they're going to be very competitive. I don't know if they're as good as the elite teams in the NFC, but they're pretty close. Pretty close.
No, man. And plus, they got it goes Packers, Falcons right out of the gate then they got Bucks. And I think they got Saints and a bye. Do the Eagles going into that? Hey, has the meter moved on them at all, the Eagles, to win the Super Bowl, or has it stayed stable where they've been? Because, you know, when you watch them, I'm still not sold. Godfather, I'm still not sold on that defense. I mean, you know, Nakobe Dean has showed up a little bit last night. Their linebackers are still terrible. Their edge rushers are questionable. Their secondary is questionable still. It's funny how people, when you evaluate teams, how come people don't really do the deep diving on the defensive side of the ball? Because that is the biggest issues on that team. Not the offense. It's the defense.
It's definitely the defense. And even with all their defensive woes of last year and being one of the worst defenses in the league, I mean, you look at their odds this year to get the number 1 seed in the NFC. It's the 49ers at 3-1, and then the Eagles at plus 550. So
wow,
they're still right there. If you look at the conference odds, it's 49ers, and then it's the Lions, and then it's the Eagles. You can get 6-1 on the Eagles, 550 on the Lions, and plus 250 on the 49ers. So they're still going to be there. And we've talked about this in the past. Eagles had one of the worst defenses in the league last season. They still won a ton of games. I mean, they can only get better on defense. They can't get any worse. So if they play, if they're a mediocre defense this season, they're going to be good enough to get to the NFC Championship game.
Where are the Bucks in your conversation? I mean, are the Bucks just one of those teams that are just spinning in the toilet bowl every year right now? Just, you know, you can't flush it and you hang. You know how there's certain teams that hang at 8-9 and 9-8 every year, and they just can't get away from it, or they're like 7-10, and they're not great. Then the next year they're not super bad, or they're a little bit bad. You know, they're hanging around that. Are they in that same revolving toilet bowl where they just keep going around at 7-10 and 10-7?
Well, Tom Brady ain't walking through those doors to win him another Super Bowl.
No way.
So, you know, there's probably like what 2, 4, 6. There's maybe 9 or 10 teams ahead of them to win the NFC conference. They're right. They might not even make the playoffs, to tell you the truth, this season, man. So, it's going to be that's going to be a tough division as well. I think teams got better everywhere in the NFC except for the NFC East. So, they'll be lucky to win 8 games this season, I think.
What about Carolina? Okay, next. Okay, how about the Saints? Another one?
Saints, I mean, they're not going to be that much better than the Panthers. You can get 45-1 for them to win the NFC conference. I mean, it's a lot. They got no shot. Forget about the Saints, forget about the Giants, forget about the Panthers. I think the Cardinals will surprise some people. I think they win 7 games. The Commanders, they should win at least 7 games, maybe 8 this season.
How many wins do the Patriots have?
Wow, their total's at 4.5, and I don't think they get to 4. I think they're in serious trouble.
That is the worst roster in football right now.
Yeah.
I mean, last night watching that thing, they played the majority of their ones, and they're terrible. They're not god-awful on defense, okay, because they were 8th last year. And they only won like 4 or 5 games last year, and they were terrible. But they have no receiver. They have a fairly decent running back. They have a below-average O-line. And if Jacoby Brissett is your boy, are you in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, their defense is pretty good. They were 3rd in the league in opponent yards per play last season, which is a metric I like to look at. But they couldn't generate that pass rush off their defensive line. Offensively, they stink. You tell me, look at their schedule. Can you find 5 wins on there? I can't. I barely find 3 if they're lucky. So they're going to have a tough season.
Hey, I wrote these numbers down here for college football. I wanted to get your take on them. Here are my top 10 teams. I got FSU 10. I got Missouri 9. I got Penn State 8th. I got Texas 6th. I got Ole Miss 5th. I got Bama 4th. I got Oregon 3rd. I got Ohio State 2. And I got Georgia 1. But that's my ballot that I turned in for the Associated Press.
Yeah, I mean, I can't disagree. I mean, I might put Texas a little bit higher, move a couple of teams around. But, yeah, I mean, it's hard to disagree with that list. You got top 10. I think Penn State's a little bit better than that. If you look at the odds to win the championship, Georgia's 3-1. Ohio State's at like 4-1. Oregon's plus 750. Texas at plus 850. And you got Bama at 14-1. Ole Miss at 14-1. LSU's at 20-1. And Penn State's right there at 22-1. So I would put Penn State a little higher than you. But other than that, I mean, I can't really disagree with that.
Dude, James Franklin's got to win. No Jim Harbaugh. He's got to win a big game. You just can't keep kicking the shit out of Rutgers and Northwestern. You've got to beat Ohio State. You've got USC and UCLA and Oregon in that conference now. I mean, hey, by the way, that's a great take here on this. What do you see? First, USC, UCLA, and Oregon. The impact that they have on the Big Ten this year will be what?
I think Oregon's going to give a lot of people a lot of headaches, man. They got a chance of winning it all.
You think they can win that conference?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, they're right there.
Imagine rolling in there and knocking off Ohio State and Michigan in the first year in the Big Ten. That'd be quite an indictment.
They're one of the 3 juggernauts. Actually, one of the 4. The 4 teams to me, like I said, Georgia, Ohio State, Oregon, and Texas. And then you got the Penn States, the Ole Misses, Alabama, LSU's. And then below that, the Notre Dames, Tennessee, Florida State, stuff like that. So,
what's the impact you think Texas and Oklahoma make on the Southeastern Conference? I mean, you got Texas. I got Texas 6, and you think they should be higher.
I think they should be higher. They got the.
So you think they go in there and really go through the SEC in the first year?
I think so, man. They got the right quarterback. I mean, he's the odds-on favorite, him and Carson Beck, to win the Heisman.
Quinn Ewers.
You know how pivotal that is, in college football. He's coming back for another season. You saw what they did last. They could put up a ton of points. Defensively, a little suspect. But if they can secure that defensive backfield, they're going to give people a lot of headaches, man. Texas is a team to watch out for, as is Oregon this season.
Oklahoma's going to get annihilated in that conference, and I'll tell you why, because they don't play defense. And by the way, I don't think USC makes an impact at all in the Big Ten because they have the worst recruiting defensive coach in college football history in Lincoln Riley. I can't think the last time he put an NFL guy into the league from his coach from Oklahoma or from USC, where they were decent. I mean, he can't recruit defensive people. And if you can't play in the cold in Big Ten football, and you take those USC boys up to Michigan, and it's 30 below degrees in November and shit, Hush, you better get back on the bus with feet warmers, because you're going to get your ass kicked up there, man. I think SC and UCLA are in for a rude awakening.
Well, I mean, the odds makers agree with you. You look at Oklahoma odds to win it all 70-1, USC at 80-1.
And they play in Big Ten weather.
Yeah, so I think they're going to get lit up. I think they got some issues. But again, your top 10, to me, I agree with it. I would just move some teams around, from like Penn State and Texas, moving a little higher.
All right, real quick here. Some baseball love. What do we got going into the weekend? Hey, by the way, did you see that stat on Aaron Judge? He's hit his 300th home run and 428 fewer at bats than Babe Ruth did.
Wow.
I mean, he's older because Ruth was a young kid, and Ruth first, of course, his first 8 years pitched for the Red Sox, but you got a guy now in 420 fewer at bats than Babe Ruth to hit his 300th bomb. He's at 42, I think, now. Is he going to win the MVP again?
I think so. And that's why the Yankees got the second best odds to win the World Series at 5-1, right behind the Dodgers. And then it's the Phillies and the Orioles. Yeah, I mean, the guy's a monster. He's doing it against much better pitching. I mean, I love Babe Ruth, but those guys, they weren't throwing heat like they are.
Beer drinking white guys and no brothers.
Yeah, come on.
Hey, beer drinking white guys and no brothers. I mean, baseball didn't start until at least 60.
Yeah, the players got bigger. Players got bigger, faster, stronger. I mean, they take care of their bodies better.
I think, dude, the West Coast of baseball was St. Louis.
Yeah. There's a lot less teams in the division, but hey, everything evolves, everything gets better, and that's not to say that those guys back then, if they were born today, that they couldn't play, Major League Baseball. But it's hard comparing, different decades and different players.
Come on, man, Babe Ruth did home runs off plumbers.
Yeah, no, that's true. But if he was born today, he might have been bigger, faster, stronger, might have taken care of himself, might not have smoked and drank every night and partied and been with all those women. So, there's so many different variables. If you really start breaking it down, because
that was his training.
Yeah, well, that guy could hit, though. He could hit. So, no, Aaron Judge is a monster. I mean, he's getting the MVP this season. Yankees.
Is Shohei Ohtani on the other side? Is Ohtani backing up again?
Yeah, it's Ohtani on the other side. I'm hoping it's a Yankees-Phillies World Series. I gave it to you guys before the season started. 13-1 on the Yankees, 15-1 on the Phillies. But the Padres, I talked about it 3-4 weeks ago. I said they're going to come on strong. They had one of the easiest strength of schedules for the rest of the season. You could have grabbed them at 9-1 when I told you to bet them. Now they're only 2 games behind the Dodgers to win the NL West. So that's a team to watch out for. Padres are hot. Diamondbacks are hot. I think both teams have won 9 of their last 10. The Astros are coming on strong. Now they're down to 10-1 to win the whole thing. They've won 8 of their last 10. So they're 3 teams that are catching fire at the right time. Thank God the Phillies are starting to get their groove back a little bit. They went through a little slump, but it's a long season. It's 162 games, and the cream usually rises to the top by the end of the year. So it's going to be fun watching the playoffs.
I love Manny Machado. I do with the Padres, but always remember this. The Padres will always be known for Tony Gwynn and the Big Mac guy, Ray Kroc. They're known for Big Macs, the hamburger, the San Diego chicken, and Tony Gwynn. They've never won anything. Do you know that they've lost more games since 1969 when they came in the league than any team in baseball? And I got under the skin of all Padre fans because, get this, the Padres, they're all excited about what you're saying. They won a lot of ball games, but I went, well, the Chargers, when they left San Diego, I think it was in 17 or 16, when they left, the franchise was worth $900 million. The evaluation came in this week at $5.5 billion. And get this, they don't even own a stadium. And they're worth $5.5 billion. So I went, well, you don't own a stadium. You basically turned the thing inside out, doubled the value of the team, basically. And I'm like, what? They were great to move out of San Diego. Were you kidding? We have the Padres. I'm like, the shitty Padres? They got a great ballpark, though, dude. It's a great ballpark.
What's funny about those teams? The Chargers and Padres always have so much preseason hype. and down the stretch, they never end up living up to it. They've had some great teams from Dan Fouts and all those guys, Winslow, those great Charger teams.
Wes Chandler, all them guys.
All those guys. That was one of the greatest games ever. What was it, against the Miami Dolphins?
The Dolphin game in the Orange Bowl, and then they turned around and played the Bengals in that freezing cold. They played in 100-degree temperature at the Orange Bowl, and it was 98 humidity. Then the next week, they went to 37 below in Cincinnati and got beat in the AFC Championship game, and they went on, and the 49ers beat them in the Super Bowl.
That was Ken Anderson was the quarterback. He had the highest passer rating in the league that season.
MVP.
The 49ers were underdogs in that Super Bowl, and there was no Jerry Rice on that team. That was all.
And get this, it was a guy named Freddie Solomon, a guy named Henry Cooper. There was a guy. There was just a bunch of nobodies. And you want to hear something crazy? Because we were going through an oil embargo then. It's still to this day the highest rated Super Bowl. That Super Bowl in Detroit of any Super Bowl that's ever been played when it comes to ratings and ratings numbers. They had like a 27.9 rating that day when they beat them. I think it was like 26-21 in that Super Bowl. By the way, that was Madden and Summerall's first call.
No kidding. Wasn't that the NFC Championship game? The catch with Dwight Clark?
Yep, was the catch. That's right, against the Cowboys.
That was the John Candy moment, right? The Super Bowl was the John Candy moment. Was that?
No. That was the last. That was Montana's one when he played Cincinnati in Miami.
That was the second.
That was the second one they played when Boomer was the quarterback, and Rice and John Taylor were on that football team, and John Taylor caught the game-winning touchdown in that. Hey, by the way, if you've not heard this story, I've told some of the people in here. So I'm on the sidelines for that game. My friend Kevin Fagan played for the Niners, so he got me tickets and he got me a sideline pass. It's true. And Randy Cross, who comes on this program all the time, he said the same thing. He goes, Montana they got an illegal procedure. People forget it went back to the 10-yard line. So you got to go 91 in a minute 36. Montana sees, and Candy was standing on the sidelines the whole game. And Montana, you know what he used to do, Joe? You know, there used to be a dial phone or like a push button phone on every sideline to go up to the booth. So Joe used to go over and see if he pushed 9. He'd call his wife. Hey, I'm down here on the sidelines. And this guy was such an eccentric dude. He'd call his wife. She goes, what are you doing? She goes, I love you. And she's like, you got a game to play. He's fucking nuts.
Well, that's why he was so cool under pressure. That's why he was so cool.
Dude, that's why they called him Joe Cool. Yeah. So Kevin's like this guy's nuts. So you could see everybody in the huddle. And I go to Fagan after the game. I go, what do you say? He goes, he's like, look, everyone. Holy shit, it's John Candy. And Randy Cross on this show goes like this. We looked at him and went, Joe, we got to go 90 yards in a minute 36. We have no timeouts. Joe looked over at him and went, I got this. Let's get this. Went right down the field, man, and hit Taylor in the back of the end zone, man. This guy was fucking insane. As much as people think Brady's the greatest, I got to tell you, I'm biased, man. I played against him.
He's got one of the greatest stats ever: 4 Super Bowls, no interceptions. So think of that, you know,
dude, right? 12 touchdowns, 138 quarterback rating, and he's never thrown a pick in a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know about you, man. And by the way, he beat Elway and Marino. Hey,
listen, I was, me and my kids used to go at it, and I was always a Montana guy. And what changed it was when Brady was down 28-3 to the Falcons in the Super Bowl, and he comes back, and I had bet the Patriots pretty big that day, and there was sharp money on the other side. All the supposed sharp guys were in Atlanta. And at halftime, I looked at the box score. Patriots turned it over twice in the first quarter. I think they only turned it over 4 times all season that year. So I knew that was an aberration. I knew that wouldn't happen in the second half. So I started betting the Patriots like crazy for the second half. And not only did they come back and win the game, they went into overtime and they covered the spread.
That's great. You're down 21 points and you covered the spread.
28-3. 28-3 at halftime.
28-3, that's right.
And Shanahan made that, those offensive calls were a little boneheaded of his. But that pushed it over the edge for me. That's when I said, you know what? Brady's better than Montana. I don't know if Montana could have came back in that game.
Well, I'll tell you what, though, man. I saw him put 55 on Elway.
Yeah.
Didn't think twice about it. I mean, I just got to tell you, man.
And the game was different. Listen, the game was different. You couldn't go over the middle. Quarterbacks were getting wrecked. Wide receivers were getting wrecked these days. So maybe if you put Tom Brady back in that era, things would have been different. But that's where it's hard comparing apples with oranges with different.
Absolutely. Tell the folks where they can find you, my good friend.
Yeah, find me on Twitter at Philly Godfather. Stop by my website, thephillygodfather.com. My book should be coming out in the next 8 weeks. And every Friday, 5:30 p.m. on the greatest show in the world, right here with Dan Sileo.
You bet, my friend. I so appreciate you finding time each and every single week for us at 5:30 Eastern, man. Make sure you check our friend out. Have a great weekend, brother.
Good luck, guys.
You got it. That is our friend, Philly Godfather. All right, folks, do me a favor. Tell me where we are in the like list right now. You know, I kind of just gratuitously threw out 420. How you doing? Right? 420 likes. Where are we right now when it comes to the likes? Wow, what a big day you guys had. The biggest day of the 419. We're one away. We're one away. We need one more like for 420. That's insanity. You guys killed it today. Please hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
Michael Vick at BetUS.com. Catch an incredible 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, plus 10% gambler's insurance. BetUS, my online sportsbook and casino.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
Heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood day.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
They're carving them up and good play calling along the way. First and goal at the 6.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Win and save this baseball season from Colony Pools and Power Washing, a local company serving Delaware, Delco, and Chester County since 1970. Are you tired of looking at your green house? Is your roof, siding, deck stained green from algae and mold? Let the experts pressure wash your home and take the pressure off of you. Win with Colony Pools and Power Washing. Call them now at 302-762-2250. That's 302-762-2250.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Sills National Football Show. You guys absolutely were awesome today. Over 425 likes, bunch of interaction today. Some smart takes and some level-headed takes, believe it or not, when it came to what you guys saw last night. Incredible, Matt. Really, it's insane, man. Steels, when you do your mock drafts, check out Tankathon. They are pretty accurate. Okay, I will. Jeff the Bone, thank you guys so much, man. You guys were just absolutely great today, man. Really great. Look, I'll reset a little bit of what we saw last night. Did the Patriot game move the meter for me in any way? Well, I don't know. I kind of know what you have offensively. You've got a bunch of talent there. I still don't really know who you are defensively. There's really no identity. And I would even make this point to you that, to me, I wanted to see at least some of the starters play a couple series and get out there just like everyone else does. Denny, good show, Sills. First day back. Nice to hear your takes. Denny, thank you for coming back, man. We always appreciate that. Naughty, thank you very much. We appreciate that, man. Anytime you put us in the same room with WIP, remember this about, I may be a little bit nutty when it comes to WIP because it's Odyssey, but that's the first sports station in America. Always remember that. It's not WFAN, which means Philadelphia is the home of sports talk. You understand that, right? Even Joe Krause worked and cracked some of his bones there at WIP back in the day. I think it was probably CBS when he was there. Dude, home of sports talk's Philly. Say whatever they want. I was watching Stephen A. Smith's show, First Take, and somebody said on there, I think it was, of course it was Mike Russo, or Chris Russo said that Philadelphia is the worst sports city with the worst sports fans. I completely disagree. I actually think New York is. I'll tell you why. They're bandwagon riders. New York is an interesting place to listen to. Now, Mets and Jets fans, okay? Yankee fans are great. Giant fans, I don't know, used to be great. Okay, Knick fans, I haven't heard of Knick fans since the Busher was there. Or maybe Riley was there with Ewing. But I haven't really heard very many Knick fans since Ewing. Okay, so I think Philly fans are the best. I tell you what, if I had to rank them, I love Tampa. Tampa's got really great sports fans. I think San Francisco has underrated sports fans. New York, again, Boston. I've worked in Boston, and I talk sports in Boston at WEEI, and I enjoyed talking sports. I was up there, and I talked some sports up there for a little bit, and I enjoyed being on WEEI. Probably my two favorite stations or cities I ever spoke sports in were probably Philly and Boston. San Francisco was pretty cool too. Had a great time. You have a great time, guys. Should be a great weekend. Obviously, exhibition football tonight, exhibition over the weekend, Minnesota next week. God bless all of you. By the way, we're powered by BetUS. We really appreciate our relationship with those guys. So we thank you guys. Make sure you check them out. Joe, Xander, we thank you. We will catch you Monday, 2 to 6, and we shall see you on the flip side.